Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. Hey, you're gonna see an image of the indoor propane heater in case the electricity went out. There's no dog though, no dog. All right, what's going on, everybody? And I can tell that a lot of people that watched the video earlier didn't watch it until, they didn't see the part where it was like, oh, wow. I mean, I actually think that I stumbled upon something there. Definitely might not be true, but I think that, well, I took this video. Look, it's a 360-degree video. See? Might be an eerie image, but it's part of a video here. Like here's up here further. Yeah, see, check it out. I mean, this is what I was trying to tell you guys when I was doing that video. Look, if you were parked right there and a DoorDash person drove up, you could really easily see the light come in. It would probably hit over here and then over into this area. I also have something for Delphi later. It's the motion. So the defense responded to the prosecution, and they actually brought up some of the stuff that I was saying because I didn't remember some of the stuff that the prosecutors said in their rebuttal to the what was it? The motion. Hell, I don't remember what it was, but there was stuff in there that the prosecution mentioned that wasn't in their document, and they were like, well, we don't know anything about that. So, we can go over that later too. And then there's just so much stuff going on these days. It's crazy. Yeah, like Luigi Mangione has his own website now, and he's thanking everybody for their support. And if you're somebody that supports Luigi Mangione, you're a nut job yourself. Something is wrong with you. Okay, your brain is malfunctioned. It's the guy's he's no different than Kohberger. He's the same type of person. Okay, United Health had nothing to do. They weren't even his insurer. So for you to be out there going, oh, hey, good for you, there's something wrong with you, okay? Even if you don't like the insurance companies. Somebody has to be the CEO. He doesn't deserve to be killed. Yeah, you like that one? We say howdy here? Cool. Yeah, so I thought we could maybe look at it deeper, what we were going over earlier, because, you have to try to squeeze it into a video. But I don't know if you can see all these little green markers here? Those are markers that I put when I thought something was significant that was related to the white Elantra. And let's see. And by the way, you guys, this is just another night, so... we try to reach the goal every single night so that the end of this month I can give away some money too, right? So there's a certain point where, what do you call it? I'm not sure what the term is, but your break-even point, or the amount of money your channel needs to bring in, and then I give away a lot of money at the end of the month. So I'm trying to recover this month from the start that we had, and if you guys have the ability to help support the channel with the coffees or the super chats, etc., that'd be awesome. Not really thinking there will be a huge crowd in here. Yeah. All right. So that's all I got. I mean, this channel's given $230,000 away since January of 2020, a 5-year period. It's a pretty good yearly average, wouldn't you say? What is that? It's not almost 50, 40 something average. All right, so if you look at the clock right here, I mean, this is pretty interesting. Watch. I mean, let me turn off the music here because you won't be able to hear stuff. So when I was looking at this, I have a lot of my files are all over the place, but in this case, I do have this one. Is it that one? No. The hell is it? Oh, there it is right there. So when you look at this is where we're starting off. So I started off right here. Okay, but keep in mind that even when this starts, law enforcement has already determined. I got to open this up. I guess I had to reboot, so let me open this up again. Hey Karen, Michelle H, Allie Cake, Sweet Caroline, Uniquely Susie, Paulette Leonard. We say howdy here. Billy, something like Villarreal maybe. But let's try not to stay at 0 for too long. It drains the energy. All right. Yeah, where's the, I guess borders would be that one, wouldn't it? There we go. It's hard to make out exactly where something is without the borders. Yeah, so keep in mind that law enforcement, they had the Elantra, I think it's right over here at 3:26, right here. And then 2 minutes later, after it drove up here, so it's not a very long drive from right here. It just drives up like this, turn left, and then right here it spotted the same Elantra, suspect vehicle 1 at 4:28, passing right here by the A&W. And if you go over here, you can kind of zoom in. I was there actually. There's cameras all over the place up on this building. Let me see if I can see better from over a different time of year. Maybe right there. There you go. They're up on the side there. I can't see them on this. Is a June 2024, so they should be visible, but I just can't see them. I mean, up here, I think those are cameras. And I believe there's some other ones that were filming this direction. I've seen them before. And when the vehicle drove by right here, during that time of year, there's no leaves on the trees here. And it had no front license plate. Suspect vehicle 1. And it's driving this direction. And then, as we remember, Ann Taylor said a camera on this building right here filmed the vehicle. So was it filming it driving this way, or when it did one of its loops? I mean, it's pretty incredible. This camera picked it up, and Ann Taylor's minions, they don't believe that that's significant, but rest assured it's very significant. Hey, thanks Richard Watts. What do you mean, what vehicle? What do you mean? It's not fake, Erica. Your brain is absolutely destroyed. The Linda Lane footage is fake. His car wasn't in the area, according to prosecution. And the defense, a lot of holes in the PCA. No, you're absolutely incorrect, Erica. The prosecution never said he wasn't in the area. I mean, what a ridiculous comment that is. I mean, right out of the gate, we've got a nut job showing up in the chat saying stuff that factually isn't true because it supports their nut job agenda. All right? Gosh, Gray, that's mean. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Maybe you guys have to throw me in prison tonight. This might be one of those nights. Hey, my God, are you kidding me? I never understood why they called it well, they just called it Suspect Vehicle 1. They might have had another vehicle that they were looking at, but then they continued to track Suspect Vehicle 1, and that's the vehicle that they determined to be the vehicle. You know, we've never heard about a Suspect Vehicle 2, etc. Yeah. I don't know. That's probably just how they do it. I don't know, KLM. Why does that bother you, though? You guys get stuck on the most ridiculous things. Like, for example, in the video that I just made about Dylan Mortensen, this person literally had the gall to write this. Listen, they said, I don't think anybody thinks Dylan has anything to do with it, but we're just wondering why she didn't call 911. And they go through this whole litany of things that Dylan did. And at that point, that means you are accusing her, right? Because let me just say this. If you don't believe that Dylan Mortensen had anything to do with the murders of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogener, Kaylee Gonzalez, then why do you give a damn why it took her so long to call 911? Or anything? Why does it even... It's irrelevant at that point. Okay? It really is. I mean, I'm telling you this because it's true. And when you keep harping on it, that means you think there is some sort of an angle there. Karen said, strangely enough, I never really got into this case. I remember some stuff, but recap, are you kidding me? Maybe later in the show. We've gone over it 1,000 times. I've made a ton of videos lately, too, like the 101 videos. You should go watch those. I mean, really went through the whole thing, went through the house really slowly, meticulously. But you get what I'm saying, you guys? Like, if people are still questioning, you can't pretend that you're not thinking she's suspicious. Because if you don't think she has anything to do with it, let it go, man. Let it go and move on to something more important. Yeah, we don't have proof. We don't have proof of anything, everybody. We don't have proof of any... Yeah, you know what? I got to admit, I am not one of the detectives working on the case, so I don't have it myself. Okay, I am going on probable cause, press conferences, etc., and the hearings that we had. Now, when people say that law enforcement has admitted that that's not his vehicle moving around, what hearing are you guys talking about? You guys are insane, all right? Ann Taylor herself admitted at the previous hearing that a vehicle right in this area is one that proves that it's actually Brian Kohberger's vehicle. Isn't that amazing? It literally proves that it's Brian Kohberger's vehicle. All right, I'll do the quickest recap in the history of mankind, all right? Let's see. It was November 13th, 2022. Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonzalez were all killed in 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, between 4:08 and 4:20. They had a struggle at the beginning finding out who did this because there was lack of DNA or anything at the crime scene, but the knife sheath that they found on Madison Mogen's bed had DNA on the button snap of the knife sheath, and there was only one single source of DNA on that knife sheath, and it was Brian Kohberger's. Brian Kohberger is a criminology doctorate candidate at the time. His license on his vehicle, his license plates were due to, they needed to be changed, and it was going to be happening in the next 2 weeks. So, of course, he planned in my opinion, the homicides out. that when he did, so he could immediately be changing the license plate and have something different. But anyways, the knife sheath had a single source of DNA on it. They were able to do rapid forensic genetic genealogy. First, Othram Labs got the DNA and were not able to find a match very quickly, so the FBI took over, and then they used, it was against the terms of service on a website. They uploaded the DNA and had access to way more people, and were able to determine that the DNA came from the Kohberger family. And then they knew it was one of the, they determined which family it was from. And then when they went there to collect DNA, I guess apparently they had the garbage truck driver collect the DNA, because they take it out and they wanted to make sure it was separated so they could test it. And when they tested it, they were able to determine that the biological father of the killer is whose DNA that was in the trash. And the reason they didn't find Kohberger's DNA is because he sat around in the kitchen wearing gloves, separating his trash out of the normal trash, and then he put his trash into the neighbor's garbage can. That's what a lot of innocent people do. I don't know about you, but I do that often. I sit around in my living room and I just keep saying, "Hey, wife, can you bring me the garbage?" And I sit there and I meticulously pull out all of my, when I blow my nose and all those kind of things, I put it into a different garbage, and then I walk over to my neighbor's house and I put it in there. It takes a long time, but I mean, who doesn't do that? Right, anyways, so that was enough to get a warrant to arrest Brian Kohberger. And then once they arrested Brian Kohberger, they collected his DNA with a swab, and it matched the DNA profile on the knife sheath perfectly. Now, it turns out that there was a white Elantra, suspect vehicle 1, driving around in the area. That's what today's video is about. It was driving around in the area, and Kohberger drives a white Elantra. Now, he drives a 2015 Elantra, and the Prosecution wackos, they believe that because law enforcement originally said 2011 to 2013 Elantra, that they do not then have the ability to change their mind or add years to it. They're stuck forever at that point. But anyways, law enforcement said, wait, you know what? I think it could be a 2016 even. So it could go from 2011 to 2016. And Kohberger's vehicle was a 2015 Elantra. And somehow they think that's not fair, that somehow they were able to add other years. I think the logic of these people is mind-boggling. It's ridiculous, okay? So there's this white Elantra moving around in the neighborhood. In fact, the white Elantra stops at 408 and then drives away, and right by the house, by the way. It stops. It doesn't move anymore. And then at 420, it moves away at a high rate of speed, leaves the area. So in the 12-minute period that car was parked there, a knife sheath was left in the house on Madison Mogen's bed during the killing, and Brian Kohberger's DNA was left on that. So therefore, the white Elantra moving around that was missing its front license plate is Brian Kohberger's Elantra. The knife sheath, the circumstantial evidence of the knife sheath having Brian Kohberger's DNA on it, and it's actually physical evidence too, tells you that the white Elantra is his. Okay, did he walk from Pullman, Washington over there? No, he drove his car. He even admits it. And they admitted that his car was right here. Look how close this is. I mean, this is where his car is, and the residence where the killing took place is right here. It was right there. It's actually been torn down in this picture. All right, there you go. There's the sort of, there's a whole bunch of other stuff you could throw in there, but that's it. And we're going to need some more support for the channel tonight because we're currently only at $10. All right, we're at 1/20th of the goal. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, we're now getting to halfway through the month. I'm trying to have a recovery from the first part of the month. I tried my best. I made videos for you guys to watch, and all of those bombed when I was gone on my one vacation that I get a year, really. I do basically 360 shows a year minimum. I bet you I actually do more than 365, because you know those days that I do 2 shows? Those are way more than 10 or 15 times a year I do 2 shows. So let's see. Stick to facts. The only car 80 to 90% identified as the 11. No, you're full of crap, Coley Johnson. You're full of crap. They just said it was 2011 to 2013 Elantra, but then they realized it could be 2011 to 2016. So you just don't want it to be that way. I know how you guys think. Okay? Let's see. And by the way, the 2011, so Coley Johnson doesn't know this. The 2011 to 2016 Elantras all can replace the exact same windows. The only difference on the 2015 that's really noticeable in a video is that there's this little tiny light on the back end. That's it. Other than that, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So people like Coley Johnson, they just show up places. They come from the Clowns channel, the UK Wacko, you know, and they just spout off the same tired garbage over and over and over again. And they probably think I do that on my end, but I'm just putting out the factual information. And when the trial happens, you know, there'll probably be some surprises for everybody. It'll be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I mean, it'll be really interesting for me. Hey, thanks, Karen. I just don't remember the floor plan. Oh, yeah, the floor plan. Here we go. Hold on. So the other part is, here's the floor plan. All right. That's not what I wanted to do. So here's the house right there. There's the front door. If I go to the camera on the head of the person that I'm using to walk through, here we go. There's the front door of the house that I just showed you. Walk in. To the right there is the storage room. Nobody was living in that room, but somebody could have lived in that room. Then right over here is a bathroom and a utility room, and this is Bethany Funk's room right below the living room. You can see this window from the front of the house on the left-hand side. Then there's the front door again right there that goes outside. These are the stairs that go up. Outside that left window is again out in the parking lot of the front of the house. Then right below where I'm standing is Bethany Funk's room. Then down the hallway right here is Xana Kernodle's room. All right, and Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were found in there. Then right here to the left, that's Dylan Mortensen's room. I suspect that the door was propped open a little bit like that when Kohberger walked by. Then inside of here, right now I'm standing below the bathroom on the 3rd floor. And right over here, about halfway into the room, is right below Madison Mogen's room. All right, then we go up the stairs. Now imagine now we're just to the left right here is Madison Mogen's floor. And down below is Dylan Mortensen's ceiling. So like right in here. You get what I'm saying? So then I go up to the top of the stairs, and on the left is Kaylee Gonzalez's room and her dog in there. And then right here, which is right above Dylan Mortensen's room, is Madison Mogen's room. Very small room because there's a bathroom in that wall there. And this is where the knife sheath was found. And then you go down the stairs, and at the bottom of the stairs, there's Dylan Mortensen's room right there on the right. And right out of her door, if you look straight ahead out of her door, there it is, the bathroom. And then you go out the sliding glass door. Okay? So there you go. That makes sense? Everybody, you got it? Hey, thanks, Sirius Black. And Silver Swag. All right. Okay, so hopefully that made sense, everybody. All right. I mean, for me, I have it all memorized in my head. I don't need to look at it, or, you know, if somebody said I can easily, like somebody the other day said, there's no way Dylan could have seen. They just had it so wrong. There's people that are the Prosecutions still don't even know the layout of the house. It's really quite astounding. And you know why? Because they never talk about anything that's actually relevant. They just talk about the conspiracies and who's the real killer and all this kind of stuff. But we know who the real killer is. It's Brian Kohberger. You know, the guy that left his DNA on the knife sheath in the room that he missed. See, that's why I think that could have been a calling card, the knife sheath, because it was completely, had no single source DNA on it at all, except on the button underneath on the clasp. So he missed it when he tried to clean it all because he was going to leave it there. What a fool. He also could have left it there. I mean, I have all these different scenarios where it could be either way. All right, so anyways, let's get back to this. So look at this, says 3:29 and 43 seconds. Right, I'm just telling you what I wanted to tell you. You can just came across him in the apartment and one person going back to bed. No. I already went through the whole story for you. We just go watch my videos that I just made. I went over all this stuff. The proof that I have that he did it is that his DNA was on the knife sheath, and he parked his car outside and at 408, and then it drove away at a high rate of speed at 420, and he left the knife. He was there. Do you admit that, Collie? That he was at least in the room? Because if you don't, you're not being intellectually honest. Okay, that's the truth. If you can't admit that he was inside the house when the car was parked from 408 to 420, you're not intellectually honest. And I think it's sort of similar to the Delphi case when you say this. As soon as you realize that Richard Allen is the bridge guy, then you know that everything else falls into place, the confessions and everything. In this case, once you realize that the knife sheath is Brian Kohberger, then everything else makes sense. You know, now we know that the white Elantra that was moving around is his because he was there. And his attorney even admitted it in court, that his car was moving around in the area. However, the other cameras don't pick it up as clearly, so they can't prove that that's him in those shots, even though it's like, look at, this one I'm gonna try to show you guys this. This is what I'm saying. If you don't have a brain, then it doesn't work for you. But if you have a brain, then yes, it makes sense. Watch. So right now we're at 3:29 and 43 seconds. And then look at this video right here, right? So I'm going to move it over here, and look what time it is. You can kind of see it down at the bottom. It's 3:29 and 38 seconds. Now watch. Here we go. You'll see the car coming around, 43, 45. See the light right there? 45, 46, and right there, bang! That's a white vehicle driving there, okay? And that went by there at, let's do it again. 3:29. It's not pausing for some reason. Okay, we're at 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and here it comes. And I'll just keep it going, and then right there. All right, so there's the back of the car, and it's 3:29 and 49 seconds. So when you look at this right here, hey, thanks, Cinnamonson Freak, and Jim Mabry, or Mabry. Which one is it? Mabry? So check it out. Look what time it is right here. 3:29 and 43 seconds. Listen. Let me rewind it just slightly. Watch. So here's 3:29 and 41 seconds. You hear that? It's right around the same time, within 3 seconds. Do you think it's reasonable to believe that that car driving right there is not that same vehicle? Because you hear it out on the street. It's not driving around inside of here. It's not reasonable to believe. Here, let's listen to this. Watch. This is 3:30. 33, 34, 35. Now it's coming. Here it comes. Right, and right that moment it drives by, right? So that would be, let me go back to what I have here. 3:29 and 43 seconds is when you hear it. Then it comes back right here behind this building at, let's show you, at 3:30 and 56 seconds. That's a minute 13. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's a minute 13. Poisonous tree. Jesus, what a lunatic. All right, so you got a minute 13 right here, right? But when you hear the sound of the vehicle driving, and then you see it right back here. And so what that is up here, let me turn on, I'll just leave it the way it is. And here's the Linda Lane Street right there. And it drove by right there at 3:29 and 44 seconds. And then a minute 13, it makes its way around and comes in right back here, right? Well, no, I just made videos, Karen. They're just short videos. You don't have to watch shows. Just go back and watch my last 3 or 4 videos. You don't have to be sorry for it. I went through and did a whole recap for you. I just can't keep going and answering and going through every single one of the different elements. So it's right here. So that's a minute 13 later. So keep that in mind. And then, amazingly, listen to this. So let me write this down over on another sheet over here. So minute 13 is the gap when you hear the vehicle and then when it shows up. Okay, now we are at 3:56. It's here. Now let's see how long after that do we hear a car driving away from the scene. So here we go. Now we're at, so let's do the math on it. Anybody out there want to just do it? 3:30:56, so that's basically 3:31. Okay, so it's 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Right. So 3 minutes and 8 seconds is when you hear the car driving away again. Watch, listen to this. It sounds exactly the same. There it goes. Driving away. Okay, and what that means is Kohberger sat back here. I mean, this is just, I'm using common sense doing this. That means Kohberger was right here and then drove out and drove away, and it drove by right in the same area 3 minutes and 8 seconds later. Okay, so that means Kohberger sat here for a couple minutes watching and looking through that window. Yeah, that's garbage. That doesn't mean, no, it's, come on, puppies. Jeez, come on. You guys are all over the place. He'd already been out of there. He was driving away. All right. I keep seeing this other video from totally different time frame that has a sunroof, and the Kohbergers keep saying it had a sunroof, great. My God, you guys, just wake up. All right, 34 and 22 seconds. Then we move over here, and now this is another time when it's coming back. But you know what's interesting about this? If you go back here a minute 13, you can't hear it because it doesn't come in that way. Watch. There's nothing. There's nothing in that window, and the reason is because this time when the vehicle drove out like this, it drove around and it came over like this backwards from where I used to have it, and then came back in at 3:39 this way, and it works perfectly. The amount of time you wait's within like 30 to 40 seconds different when you use Google Maps and put the time in there. What I mean by difference is, remember how a minute ago it's right here at 3:34 driving away this way? That's because it waited here, and it only takes about 4 minutes to get from here all the way around and then back to here again. All right, and that puts you right around this let me get to the right one, 3:39 and 7 seconds. So here he comes. This vehicle is the same car every time. There isn't a different vehicle. It's the same vehicle every time. It looks exactly the same. It sounds exactly the same. It is, any reasonable person would believe that. Now, if you're a Kohberger, you'll just pretend it's not and say, can you prove it's not the same car? But any rational-minded person can see, has the same level coming in, sounds exactly the same, it's doing exactly the same thing as the other times the car was there. Hey, thanks, KK. So there it goes. It's a BMW gray. So 339.26. Now let's zip forward to right here. Now it's 342.49. So let's go back again. I mean, this guy was using a watch. 339.07. And then it's driving away again out on Taylor Avenue. So 339.07. So that is 3 minutes and 32 seconds that time. Oh, that's crazy. So that is another, the other one was 308. This is 332. So he sat there again. Listen, here it is, watch. See, it's the same thing. Watch. I rewound it a little bit. Goes out there on Taylor Avenue. It's coming here in a second. It's actually a little louder even right there, so maybe even a little longer. So let's see, that's 3:43 and 4 seconds. Let me go back to the shit. Oh wait, no, I have to go back to the one before that. So that would be 15 more seconds. So 3 minutes and 47 seconds. I think that's more likely the time that it was driving by. All right. So he sat there and waited again. So this is where my theory from today is coming in. So when he comes around right here and he parks, he sits there for like 3 minutes looking and waiting and watching, then eventually gets tired and then drives this way out. All right, and now we are at 3:42 and 52 seconds. Now, interestingly, you know, one of the things about that, it's you know, it's 3:42 and 52 seconds. Was it the first sound we heard or not? I don't know, but there's another surveillance shot at about 3:45, which is, you know, 2.5 minutes later, which I think is totally doable, even though when you put it in Google Maps, it doesn't show that. But from right here, and you drive this direction, I think you would probably go like this, watch. So you're driving by, here's the house, you come out, this is Linda Lane where that footage was, where you can see it driving by, kind of small. He would go this way, down, and then straight across like this, and then through this intersection, or however he did it, like this, because right here at 3:45, there appears to be a white Elantra. And look at this thing. I mean, that is one hell of a, I mean, that looks just like it. And you can even see it back here, and you may look at it, it might even have that little light that's on the side, and there it is right there. I mean, it looks like a white Elantra, doesn't it? And I think it looks a hell of a lot like one, and it's white. What do you mean wrong case? Who are you talking to? Oh, have you seen the dude dressed in black hoodie, 350 crossing parking lot and moving by apartment to back parking lot? I have no idea what you're talking about, Harold. You seem completely lost. I have no idea. But look at that. So in this loop here, it drove way further away, and I don't know what it was doing, but it went clear over here and was doing different things, and it must have gone somewhere else as well, because eventually it comes back. And then I think it drives this way again, because watch this. So at 3:42:52, we hear it as it's leaving. And then perhaps that's the same vehicle by the gas station at 3:45. Then at 3:55, it appears to be coming back. Listen. Sounds exactly the same. And look at it, it's 3:55:50. So let's do the math there. 3:55:50. Now watch this. It's going to be pretty amazing. And then 3:56:57. So my actual, the start of the audio that I have is 3:55:46. And then if we go to the next one, 46, that's 11. So a minute 11. So you guys remember earlier how I said after the car drove by, it took a minute 13 to get back here. This time it took a minute 11. Are you going to tell me that's just a coincidence? That you have the same exact timing and the car, sound of the car driving, and then it pulls back here in the same exact, I mean, within 2 seconds. It was a minute 13. Remember on the first pass, when it drove by, you heard it, and then it shows up back here. It was a minute 13. Now later, when it came back again, it drove by at let's go back right here, 3:55:46. You could hear the car going by. And then a minute 11 later, it shows up right back here. Exactly the same amount of time. Does that make sense? See, that's why circumstantially, that vehicle that's making that sound on the road is that same vehicle right there. Why are you lost, Karen? It's really simple stuff. I don't know if it could be explained any easier. Hey, welcome, Silver Swag. I thought you were into this kind of stuff. Remember, you were saying you do this, and this dude is totally creepy. I wonder if he's done this stuff before. I wonder if some woman came out. Yeah, they have came forward to tell stories. One time he went on a date and told the woman that she had nice birthing hips. Okay, well, type in the what you're referring to so I know. I always feel like I gotta, get caught up, or make sure everybody's on the same page. Yeah, it's irrelevant, Alabama Mama 31. It's irrelevant. You know why? Because Kohberger wasn't there until 4:08. That's when he stopped his car. So I don't care if there's somebody looking around in a dumpster or anything like that you're aware of. It's just not interesting. It has nothing to do with it. How do you know, Gray? Because it isn't. The white Elantra is the key to this case. It's driving around, it parks and stops at 4:08. Yeah, it's just not, it's not relevant to the case. So here's where it got kind of crazy today, though. Watch this, you guys. See what time it is right there? 3:56 and 57 seconds. Now, given the fact that the last loop, the car waited, you heard it driving by at 3 minutes and 47 seconds later, you can assume then he would wait around. I mean, not assume, but you could speculate that the vehicle would wait another 3 minutes right here. So add 3 minutes to this, and we'd have 3:59 and 57 seconds, right? Well, it's amazing because watch this. At 3:59:11, you can hear a faint sound of a car. Listen. See, a lot of people go, it's wind. I can tell the difference. I got headphones out. And I wouldn't be surprised if the DoorDash driver had like a Prius or some kind of car that was very quiet. Now look at that. It's 3:59 and 23 seconds. So remember a minute ago when I said if you add 3 minutes to this number right here, it would be, let's say he was waiting around and it's 3:59:57. Watch this. And then look what time it is right here, 3:59:46. And that's where we get the wow, the DoorDash driver is right in front of Xana Kernodle's house and either locking or unlocking their door, right? Bang, bang, you know. And then right now he's walking over the door. Got the food in his hand, walks over there, probably places it on the ground, and then I guess you take a picture of it or something like that. So maybe right now he's taking a picture of it, and Kohberger's still parked behind where he could see into Madison Mogen's room. He hasn't left yet. So I'm actually going to give you the theory that Brian Kohberger was still, I can't absolutely be certain of this, but I think Brian Kohberger is very possibly could still be parked behind 1122 King Road, and he could see the lights of the DoorDash driver pulling up, and he stayed there. Now he's really waiting there, and he didn't leave again. He actually does not even leave that little area again until his final time he leaves. I think he sat there and he waited and he watched the lights and he watched the but watch, here we go. It's going to beep again when he gets back to his car, perhaps. See those little beeps? So he's getting back to his car. Now watch this. So that's 4 o'clock and 29 seconds. And then if I move to the next significant, it's 4:01 and 7 seconds. Okay, so it's like, you know, 40 seconds later, which is totally consistent, remember, with the minute 13, but he's closer to get out, so it only take about 40 seconds. And you can hear, there it is. There's DoorDash leaving now. Do you guys get this? I hope it's all making sense to you, because right now it makes total sense in my brain, and I don't know if I can explain it any better. So right there, it's leaving at 4:01 and 13 seconds. It's driving by. So Kohberger at this point had seen this light and everything. So now I don't think he's leaving again. He's still just monitoring and watching, monitoring and watching. And then at 4:04 and 54 seconds, I think you can kind of hear his vehicle maybe moving around a little bit. And just over here to the left, I think. And he just may be observing, like, let's say right now he's at, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just going through how, I'm just sort of picturing this. I think, okay, so this is where he was waiting. Look at this. When that DoorDash driver pulls in, he can see that. Do you guys agree with that? That he could see the lights? The lights will be all over these buildings here. He's over here going, oh shit. He doesn't have his lights on, but he's seeing these lights down here. So he is kind of thinking, okay, I'm going to see what's going on. So then maybe he goes down to this area and he looks a little bit and waits and watches, tries to see what's going on. And then at about, so he never leaves again. And then, so this is 4:05 and 4 seconds. And then 4:05 and 31 seconds, he drives back behind her again. Look at. And see, he's right there. And that looks very similar, by the way, to this car, doesn't it? I mean, look at that. It does look very similar. Got to be honest with you. So right now, there's another car. It sounds like driving on the main street out there. And see, there you go. Look at now, it's backing up. And hey, thanks, John Dunn. But Gray, sitting behind the house while the DoorDash came and went, blows the case sky high. Just kidding. I watched the previous one earlier, and I think you got this. I like it. Yeah, well, thanks. I think it's pretty damn interesting. I know other people have, analyzed the audio and everything. Also, has my same loop in it when people talk about it, but maybe it goes. Now we can see that it goes different directions at various times. But look at this, at 4:06, doesn't it make sense that he pulls up in front of the house? Not in front of the house, but he drives back here after he knew the DoorDash driver. Now he wants to drive back out and make sure and see what the hell's going on. So at 4:06 and 4 seconds, he's not comfortable just going, so he wanted to go back out there. He was thinking about doing his loop, but he goes, nah, I gotta go check that out. I gotta go check it out. So then at this point, he's right back here in this video. He had just came in right here and backed up, and he's heading back out. And then he tries to turn around or park right around in this area, right here. So he had just seen the DoorDash driver. Now, at this point, is it possible that this is when Xana-ish, is coming out and grabbing the food that was left there? Maybe she was up in the room and, took a minute or two to come down. And he can see that, the door's opening and she's getting in there and he's kind of like, oh, man. Or it's already been picked up. But he goes right over here and he does a 3-point turn and he drives back this direction. And then he goes back here again. And this is when he finishes his entire pass. So here we go. This is 4:06 and 4 seconds. And he's going to do what I just told you right after this. And then he comes back here at 4:07 and 29 seconds. Same car, same profile, everything's the same. There it is. And that's 4:07 and 40 seconds. And right there he's driving around like this, and he's just going to park here for the last time. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think? I don't think he left after that third pass. I think he stayed in the area. And he saw the DoorDash driver get there. I do. Because if he followed the same pattern that he had done previously, waiting 3 minutes or so at the house, he would have been there 3 more minutes that time. And he would have seen it. And by the way, we don't hear a vehicle that sounds like his vehicle coming back. So I don't know, man. I think this is it right here. All right. Well, I know it doesn't really prove it's Kohberger still. I'm just showing you what I think the timing is. And I think at trial, who the hell knows what they've got? They're going to have the 1112 King Road camera. It's going to have a lot of different footage on it of vehicles moving in and out. They're probably even going to show when Madison and Kaylee left that night. It's going to show them coming back, being dropped off. You won't see them get out, but you'll see the vehicle come by. And then you'll probably see that there isn't too much traffic there, maybe just some people coming back to their 500 Queen Road residence or something like that. And then, you're at 3:29. Look at this footage right here. Look, watch. This one, it'll just be really clear. This one right here. See, this camera at 1122 King Road. Look at the date on that. That's 11/13, same night. This is 1:56 in the evening. Right? So this is probably, I'm not even sure. This might be when Kaylee and them came home, something like that. I think that's exactly when that is. When Kaylee and Madison came home, there's probably just before this a car drove by, but look how clear that is. So what you're going to see on the video is right around 3:31, you'll see a car coming in, the white Elantra. You might not be able to say, ooh, look, it's a white Elantra. But you've seen it's a white Elantra previously, and the timing of it works. It matches up. So it comes around right here and goes this direction. Then you'll see it leave the area at 3:34-ish. Remember, because it goes out this way and it drives away to the right. And then you hear it coming, I think it's, you don't hear it coming back. It comes back around up here on Willanta Drive. So this camera might actually show the lights of the vehicle up here coming around, and then it'll show up right back in here again, and go back. And that'll be like 3:39 when it drives by. 3:38 and some odd seconds driving by. And then you'll see, let's see, I think you'll see that, then that one will be leaving too. I think let me see what time I have on the, yeah, and then at 3:42:49, let me go back a little bit more. I wanted to see if I got that other thing right. Yeah, 3:34:12 was that other one. Then 3:42:49 is when you can actually hear the car leaving again. And then it takes off for quite a bit of time on this one. So that means, let me go to the next one. So 3:55:46, you hear it entering back into the area. 3:56:57 is when it shows up back here. So that means if you're looking at this camera at about 3:56 and some odd seconds, you'll see it driving by like this again and going back there, but I don't think you see it leaving again. I'm just guessing. It very well could, I'm just, it made me really think about that, because I think if he sat there for the 3 minutes that he'd sat there on the other times, he would have, and even if he was only there for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, he definitely would have passed the DoorDash driver when he was leaving. But if he sat there for 3 minutes, he's definitely there when the DoorDash is being delivered, if that is in fact the beeps from the DoorDash delivery guy, which makes sense because it's really the only thing you hear, and you can barely hear the car. I doubt the DoorDash guy came driving in off of Elantra Drive, and I'll show you why. Is because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, back up in here, unless you were doing a separate delivery, this is just sort of a place where people live. It's not a, you wouldn't even use it to get through somewhere. Right? So it would be really odd if he came in like this, the DoorDash guy. I think he definitely came in like this. He just has a vehicle that isn't loud. All right, guys. Well, we're doing okay. We're only about a third of the nightly goal. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel and you like the videos and content that I'm doing, I would appreciate the support. We only have one new member tonight. And we have, let's see. Yeah. Oh, well, thanks, Karen. And Karen, hey, you give me some some puppy PayPals, but we have no coffees tonight, you guys. 0 coffees. What's going on? Man, the coffees. Man. Why do you have Xanax? It's Xana, not Xanax. What do you mean? She just grabbed a bag of food and went inside the house. What do you mean? That doesn't even make any sense. Go Beaches. I just explained it to you. It's wild. Let's see. Let me go back up here. So let's say Brian Kohberger was right here. Hey, holy crap, John Dunn. I think I've only had one other time when somebody got that many out of all the years. 20 memberships. Look at that. We got Wishing B, Dan Da, Laura C, K Lion Hall, Birdie, Bird Brain, oh boy, Monic Mim, Vicky D, Nancy Christensen, Dara Johnson, I Love Jesus, Lady Beekeeper, DeAndrew 38, Lil Dragonfly, Kevin Callahan, Crime Mime, Why Wonder, Texas Sunshine, Faith New. Very cool. Hey, thanks, Jim Lawn. What the hell is a gigawatt, he asked, and the answer is, well, I don't have the answer.
1.21 gigawatts. What the hell is a gigawatt?
There you go. What the hell is a gigawatt? Oh, well, everybody put some positive vibes out to Karen. Sounds like she's going to have some surgery. So everybody put out those positive vibes for Karen. She just sent it in a message over here. So, all right, put those prayer hands for her surgery she has coming up. I don't know how to do that myself, but if you guys can put them in there, I would appreciate it for our buddy Karen. You know, yeah, that's all right. There's always going to be a few trolls here and there. You know, hopefully some of the people who just got memberships will stay members afterwards. And make sure, by the way, to go over and watch our scholarship fund videos. We just had the 3 winners for our scholarship. We give this year we gave 3 $2,000 scholarships out using bold.org, and I have all 3 of the winners' videos that they made for us. They just talk on them, and you can see what we're doing. It's pretty sweet, man. We give out last year we gave 2 $3,000, but we thought, well, you know, this year it'd be better, you know, maybe we can give 3 people 2. That'd probably be helpful to more, you know, a little bit more people. So we've given 5 out so far, $12,000 in a 2-year period. We also have a DNA fund that we've put over $100,000 into over the last 5 years, which identifies Jane and John Does. There is actually a case that she sent me the other day. I forgot to get back to her, but I think we have 13,000 sitting in the slush fund over there. But we definitely need to start doing better on the channel so I can start adding to it. This last month I was only able to donate $1,500, and normally we do like 4 to 5 or 6,000 out of the income and so forth. But this month was really it's been, you know, it's been, last month was slow. This month was even slower, but it's picked up lately. I don't know, you know, it's hard to know what rhyme or reason things are, but you would be surprised. Sleep on campus in their cars because housing is too expensive. I mean, that kind of sucks. All right, so look at this is why Xana didn't see Kohberger, because Kohberger's back here parked in his car, in my opinion. And then the DoorDash driver pulls up, puts it out there, and there's lights and everything. Then Xana comes out, gets the food, and I mean, we don't know when that was. And then he drives this way at some point, but I actually think he just drove down here and took a right. But he stayed here for like 7 or 8 minutes, not the 3 that we had before. I think the DoorDash driver kind of threw him off. And I bet you, even at this point, the lights were off in Madison Mogan's room, and he was about to make his move. He was waiting. He was just working his way up. He was like, he's been there for 3 minutes. It was like 3:59. He was like, okay, I'm ready to go. And then, boom, a DoorDash shows up and it sort of threw him for a loop. And then he drove down and he saw it leave, and he drove down there and he went back to check to see what was going on. And then he does his 3-point turn, and now it's go time, buddy. He turns around, blasts back around the building, parks his car, goes right down this hill right here, goes into that kitchen that's back here on that cement slab, and then goes upstairs. You know, I think Xana though was first, Xana and Ethan. I think Xana was awake because of her DoorDash delivery, and I actually think because the car parked here at 4:08, and then Xana's TikTok stopped at 4:12, I think that's the window. I think at like 4:08 he parks, he does blood spatter mitigation prep, gets out of his car, goes in, and they were killed right around 4:12. Or at least he thought he killed both of them around 4:12. Then he goes upstairs, and he thinks that Madison's going to be by herself in her room, but she isn't. So that created a problem too. Now he's, you know, really things aren't going well for him. And then you would think, well, let's see, that's interesting too that he brought the knife sheath up to the 2nd floor with him. I mean, why wouldn't he have lost it on the 1st floor if he was just holding it? But anyways, he brought it up, and he goes up to the 2nd floor and he kills Madison and Kaylee. And then on the way down the stairs, he hears the whimpering sound, and then he goes to check it out because now he knows he left one of them alive. And that's when he says, "Don't worry, I'm going to help you," to try to calm her down. And then maybe she's even sort of standing up trying to get out, and he kills her, and she hits the ground. That's where that thud sound is. It's on the camera. And then that's when he leaves, and he's got a lot of adrenaline, and he just blows by where Dylan is just peeking out of the cracked open door, takes a right, goes out the sliding glass door that's right over here, and then just zips up the hill here or wherever he parked right around in this area, got in his car, and he took off at a high rate of speed. Welcome, Jim Lawn. All right, there you go. And do we have any coffees yet? Man, that's odd. It's odd to have 0 coffees. Let me put that in a link. Those actually are better sometimes than the super chats. Better percentage. I'm unable to purchase one. When in life gets better, I will. Hey, I don't want people to, if you can't afford something, I don't want anybody to send a nickel over here. But if you can, that'd be great. Oh, there goes my stomach again. So anyway, anybody have any questions about what we've talked about right here? And I kind of stay in a similar lane, because you got these people who creatively edit in their minds what's said at these hearings. They pretend that something was said, like law enforcement said that his car wasn't driving around at the crime scene. That's bullcrap. He didn't fly there. He didn't walk from Pullman, Washington. Yeah, no chocolate. Yeah, exactly. Jeez. But yes, please buy me a coffee if you can, in that link that was just provided. Maybe I'll put it at the top. Let me pin it. That way you can't miss it. There we go, right there. It's at the top now. Bethany saw. I don't believe any of that stuff. Collie Johnson. Where would she see that? In the front of the house? Bethany saw that? Taking off his clothes, placing them in the bag. I mean, that'd be interesting if that's true, but where is that in any of the documents? That Bethany saw somebody putting clothes into a plastic bag. Anybody know where that is? Well, they did. In the probable cause document, they said suspect vehicle 1 turned around in front of a 500 Queen Road, number 52. Hey, all right. Let's see. We got let's see who did that one. Well, it doesn't have a name. Someone. Anyone tell your microphone sound? Oh, does it really? Again? Hold on. I might be blasted. Whenever I turn off something, it switches over to this. Let's see what's going on. No, that looks pretty good. Testing 1, 2, 3. Maybe if I made it lower, does that sound better? Like that? Testing. I think I'm too close to the mic or something. How about that right there? Testing 1, 2, 3. Know what, Cindy? I don't know what that means. Type in a full sentence. It doesn't what? Okay. All right, there you go. Doesn't sound muffled. Okay. Oh, KLM did the coffee. All right. Well, at least we got one in there. Very cool. Thank you. Let's see. I just think there's a lot of information that the Kohbergers, they bring up, and it's like it's just rumor, really like hardcore rumor mill stuff, as if it's a fact. I mean, when did Bethany Funk ever say that? I've heard that rumor before, but where is it in a document? Or like, where did it come from? Where did somebody say that she said that? Did she write it herself? Is there a screenshot of her saying that? I mean, I'd like to see that. That'd be really interesting if she saw somebody taking off all of their clothes and putting it into bags. And if she saw that, where did she see that? Because she's on the front. Let me show you where Bethany Funk lives. Or lived. She lived right down here. So, gosh, maybe it's true that Kohberger parked right there and then just walked down a really short hill and just walked around and did what he did, and then came back and went here. And then maybe he changed his clothes right there and got into the car. But man, how crazy is that? Right in front of all these apartments? And that would be really interesting. Sherlock Holmes. I like that name. Sherlock. Was the newly released images from the 802 Troy Road gas station. That second car from the left is a perfect match to the photo released to the public. Which one? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, that is what that's from. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I somebody sent me this a while ago. You're talking about this picture right here, this one that was released? Mm-hmm. That was the original that was released. And let's see. Yeah. So you're saying like that was right there, yeah. I think that one here is this one. Although I guess it could, it looks more like that one there. Doesn't that look like an Elantra though, you guys? Hey, thank you, Mama, for 57 rows. Or when Taylor gave the full statement given to police. Where? Coley Johnson. You said it came out in court. Where? Show me where in court she said that. We don't have the full statements by the two survivors. You'd have to prove that one to me. I haven't heard that at all. I mean, just in this last hearing, when she said that Dylan Mortensen said she saw somebody going up and down coming down the stairs or going up the stairs. I don't remember the order. What do you mean they only quoted? When? Which hearing was that? I believe the Bethany Funk was something referred to in court. Where? Where? Which hearing was that? We can go pull it up. Let's see if we can find it. Was it a recent hearing or one of the ones from a long time ago? When you say yes, Harold, how do we know? Yeah, I didn't hear that at all when I watched those last hearings. Okay, when you say no last week or before, well, we heard the ones from last week. So which one was it? Yeah, I heard the one in court. It was about Dylan Mortensen seeing somebody running up and down the stairs, and she didn't remember. She wasn't sure if it was a dream or something like that. I don't know, man. But she could have heard a noise and went out in front of the door and looked to her left. And yeah, maybe, sure, but where's the information? If you can tell me that it's true, then I'll believe it. I'll be like, whoa, okay, that's cool. You can add it in. It doesn't. I want that to be true, actually. Here, let's take a look at this. Let's see, 2015 white Elantra. Side rear, is that gonna... Elantra side. All right. Well, that's what they look like right here. So that's there, and apparently, see how there's this little light down there? You can't see it, and I think that might be a brake light. And if you're not using your brake, you can't really see it. But that, you know, sure looks promising. Looks pretty good, right? I guess let's take a look at the other one though. I think if you looked at like that. It's got those long lights on the front. That kind of looks like it's in, that's hard to tell. It looks like there might be more space above that. I don't know. The back part there. You know, but it's such a blurry photo that you can get some, you know, look that isn't real in it because it's motion blur on it. Slow camera speed, shutter speed. Alright, the window looks like it. Hey, Cindy, we wouldn't have missed that. Yeah, I just want somebody to tell me exactly where that is, because if it's true, I'd like to know that it's true. That'd be awesome. I think that'd be helpful. Find it, Coley, and slipped up. What are you talking about? Which hearing was it, KLM? If you're so sure, which hearing was it? I'm going to have to be thrown in prison here pretty soon. I'm getting frustrated. Okay, well, if it's the last hearing, it's not there. I watched it. We played it. Okay, let's see if we can do this. I played it on here. What night was that I just played that on here? I just played that, right? It was like just a couple nights ago, I think. It was a live stream. Is it this one? Let's see. Might have been this one. Yeah, let's see. Camera. So now here comes the light. Yeah, there we go. Then there's 12 minutes. Why is he over here?
All of the.
Let me see if I can do like. Was it in the second part of the hearing or the first part? So I think if we go here and then go to the transcript, and then shouldn't the word naked? What word am I looking for? Naked? Is that right? Or nude or something like that? Or what? Let's see that. That's not in there. Beth, they didn't even mention her name either, right? They don't say the victims' names. Come on, you guys. Jesus. Early on, there was a rumor about someone jumping up and down, then falling down. What does that even mean, Go Beach? I don't know. Undressing it. Just... Let's see if we can find the hearings on a different. It's just a pure hearing. Let's see. Kohberger hearing. Mine, it was me talking and stuff like that. What was the name of it, by the way? What was the thing that they were trying to do? Frank's hearing. Yeah. This case is mirroring the Idaho 4. I mean the Delphi case, like perfectly. It's crazy. It wasn't 3 weeks ago. This was like, right? It wasn't 3 weeks, was it? I guess it is. I guess it was about that long. No.
The individuals who are using, in other words, their first problem is they're relying on a policy at all. Have to follow searches are throughout this chain, and what they're leaving out repeatedly is where this DNA started. Where did the chain start? Well, it started at a quadruple homicide.
Yeah, well, I need the full.
So when it was characterized yesterday.
Now, I have these videos. I just don't feel like going through them again. If you can't tell me where, if it's there or not, I just don't believe it. Let's see if I can. I think that'd be a huge story, and everybody would be talking about it if it was true, don't you? Okay, is this the one? This might be the one where we sat around and waited all day, and it turns out it was like an hour-long hearing at the end.
Tell the magistrate that
That's a different one.
that's nowhere in the affidavit, and that
counsel for probable cause purposes.
It could absolutely be reasonably.
So if that was 123, it must be the day before, 122, right? Ah, shoot. Wait, I think I can find it over here using my... I have this software where I download it from. It doesn't have the date on there. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the hearings. We just watched it the other day. Oh, okay, 4. It must be, it's much longer. Okay, there it is. Where's one of them? Oh, that's that one. Yeah, I don't know. I have the one larger one, but not the one where we just watched it the other day, though. Weirdly. Yeah, thanks, Alley Cake. Everybody stopped supporting the channel earlier. It's wild. Gray, your coverage of this case is outstanding. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. I don't know where I put that one hearing, though. Let me see. 122, 23, is that it? Oh, that might be it. Hold on. This is the IGG portion, I think.
Your Honor, our position is that the court should.
Yeah, that's just the IGG. Oh, maybe this is it then. Hold on.
But then you have this false narrative that looks like stalking, that looks like following, and it's not true. That is extremely damaging. It's very misleading. It's an outright lie to the magistrate. When you omit that kind of information, when you take that context out, you might as well say stalking.
See, she wanted them to say that they couldn't absolutely identify it as being his white Elantra on other camera shots, when circumstantially it is, right? Because the vehicle's moving, you see it here, and then it keeps moving around. It's just really bizarre what people are willing to believe to free a quadruple killer, you know? Never seen anything like it. Gray, we don't think he is. Hey, thanks, Bridget Bauman. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to find that hearing though. It's weird how I had it the other day. It's the full-on hearing. It was the first one, so it should have been on the 20 States Response Part 2. So that would have been the 22nd. So you would think the 21st would have been the first one. Let's see. 2025 0121. Okay, it's right there. And then inside of this, no, God, that's actually a Delphi. That was pretty busy on that day. I think Kohberger called in the DoorDash food order. I don't at all. Yeah. Xana Kernodal ordered the DoorDash, you guys. Right. He had nothing to do with it, Tim Harris. I don't know why you're coming up with that again. She ordered it. The bag was in the kitchen. I mean, they don't mention that in the... I think they do mention the DoorDash delivery driver. And don't they mention in the probable cause that she ordered it? On the counter in the kitchen. Well, let's look at it like this. If you ordered it at... And it got there at 4, right? And you get it in the house and you eat it and stuff. And then you bring the bag into the kitchen after that at like 4:10, 4:11 or so. That's right when Kohberger's coming down. So what if she was still in the kitchen but looked out the door and saw somebody coming down the hill and said, "Hey, there's somebody here." And then he heard her say that and then followed her back in the room and they were killed at 4:12. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? That doesn't seem like a coincidence at all. It's like somebody ordering food. Xana's still awake. She's on her TikTok. Now the thing is the probable cause would have worked no matter what, as long as you said that Brian Kohberger's DNA was on the knife sheath. Everything, unless there was exculpatory information, and there wasn't any. You got to ask yourself, you pro-burgers out there, how come Brian Kohberger has never come up with an alibi other than saying, "Oh, I was driving around." And first he said he went out to Wawawe Park and was stargazing. Well, that seems to have been eliminated because now his own defense attorney admits that he was driving around in the area at the time, but you just can't prove to us that every single one of the times the white Elantra is driving by, it's his. Okay, except for the fact that a white Elantra was driving around. I want to just drive this home. Just listen for a second. A white Elantra was driving around. And I'll tell you this right now. If Kohberger's DNA was not on the knife sheath, and you could prove that that one shot was his, you could still have a pretty decent kind of case if you could somehow link it back to him, and then you could prove that the white Elantra, by certain techniques that was in this area, was his. But it might not be enough, because a jury might go, well, he could have just been driving around and parked there, but how do we know he went into the house? Well, that's where the DNA on the knife sheath comes in, because as soon as you have that, now it's not reasonable to believe that that Elantra wasn't his. It's almost, you'd have to be brain dead at that point. And why did he go for coffee 34 miles away? Well, that was later in the evening. So at 9 in the morning, well, here's stuff that, you know, we've gone over the whole case. Let me just, where's that? Is that in this one? I guess I need to put that into the Kohberger. See, we got look at this crap here. So this is actually the overlay of the probable cause. See that? You can actually drive almost precisely where they have it. And I did that route. I drove it. It was crazy. But anyways, at 9 in the morning, he apparently, I think it was like 9:32, he's back. But then at like 9 something, the vehicle drove over here. And I think he went over here to check his handiwork. You know, to watch the horror and stuff and get a thrill out of it. And maybe he did drive by, you know, but then he got back home. But then later in the day, he drove all the way down to Clarkston and Lewiston down here. So I think it was like Lewiston, Idaho, and Clarkston. He came in like this, then drove over here, and then at 12:36. His vehicle is at Kate's Cup of Joe right here, utilizing their Wi-Fi resources. And at the very moment, a camera over here filmed the vehicle, and it matched suspect vehicle 1. Missing its front license plate likely, but it's, you know, suspect vehicle 1. And his phone is utilizing this at the time that is filming it, right? Then not only that, right after that, it drove down over here to an Albertsons. Then the vehicle parked, and lo and behold, Brian Kohberger himself got out of the vehicle, therefore matching suspect vehicle 1, his cell phone, and himself all together. And he goes into the store, he buys some items, gets back out, and he takes off. Now there's other interesting stuff, because his phone goes dark at that point. And then at, I think it was 5:32, have to do it by memory, 5:36 p.m., so hours later, his phone pinged near Johnson, Washington here, just for a 4-minute window, almost as if he was, you know, sort of interesting, right? Because there's 16 minutes of missing time. Did he drive over here somewhere and toss his items and then get back to it going this direction somewhere through these, you know, I don't know if there's a way to do it, but somehow driving around up here and make his way back and do something else with the items, I don't know. And then it goes dark again, apparently, and then turns back on at like 8 something. It pings back over here in Pullman, Washington. Floyd's Cannabis. Why is Floyd's? It's right up here. So what's the deal with Floyd's Cannabis Shop? I do have it. I know that there's a camera that picks it up. It's right there. And is that on the way in that night? Because it sounds like he didn't really take a crazy route there, but went this direction. So Floyd's Cannabis Shop is right there as you're heading into Moscow, Idaho. And by the way, thank you up there to Bridget Bauman, Mama 457 Rose, Alley Cake, and how we doing on those coffees? Man, just still have that one coffee. Hey, thanks, Mark, on the PayPal. That's it. Do you think he had a full tank? Maybe do study on how much gas he used? I don't know. Nah, it's kind of boring. I drove this whole route myself. I actually drove. This is what I did. I have a video out there that does the entire day, like the full night, starting at 3:26 over here at 3:26 right here at Indian Hills Drive. I actually drove from right here, and by the way, I even started over here. So I came in like this, and then went like that, drove around, came in. Now I would change this up now because I was doing, each time I would do the loop, I'd go around like this, but apparently now it looks like the car originally came in like this. It came out and went back out that way, but looped around this direction and then came in. And then when it exited that time, I think it also went this way. Let's see, I think the second one, let's see, it was 30, then 39. Yeah, so when it first came in, it went like that. That'd be 31. Then it leaves this way, comes back around, and then 39, it goes here. All right, and then it came back out, and then it left again this way, but this time it went way out here. So it drove out here, and it's very possible that the Elantra is over here at a gas station. Then eventually it comes back over here at 350 something, driving this way, 55 I think, comes back around, and then at 350 7-ish or so, it drives back over here, parks there, and then I don't think it ever left again. I think it stayed here, saw the DoorDash delivery driver, waited around, watched, came back over here, turned around, checked again, turned around over here, went back, and then parked here at 408, and then drove away at a high rate of speed at 420 just 12 minutes later. Why? I don't want to rent an Elantra. Why don't you go do it, Go Beaches? Let me know what you find. You guys are ludicrous. My God. Let's see. Don't you remember Prosecution has Floyd? Don't know what that means. Who's Aunt Taylor? Right. Well, maybe it's not his car going by Floyd's Cannabis. I don't know. Who's claiming it's his car? And by the way, what's the whole issue when she's saying over here the car, it goes the other direction? Who cares? I mean, look at the, like over here, obviously, I bet you could be right over in this area and hook back up again. See, like you could drive over here, come around, and get right back onto over there, and maybe he took kind of a longer route. Don't really know. But, you know, if he's over here at, let's see. I think they changed the timing over here. So it was like 2:53 is when the phone stopped pinging or something. It was over in this area. And I think he probably came down like this and got onto the highway. And then maybe he did go this way. And then it comes down, and maybe it's just like there's so many ways he was driving routes that aren't really common to avoid being detected, like on the way home. Doesn't anybody, the Kohbergers out there, hey, thank you LRH for the coffee, thank you. Why did Jack show up? Who cares? You do have strange thoughts. Man, I can't believe... See, here's what's weird about the Kohberger people like Coley up there. They're still thinking about weird shit like that has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, he was the guy that was with Madison and Kaylee at the grub truck, and people are still looking into that guy. You got to be kidding me. I mean, just grow up, man. It's just, you're getting kind of... You're almost kind of creepy, almost like a stalker. Yeah, we're not doing too bad. God, I can't believe he said that. I think it's sick, man. You know, everybody's still going after Dylan Mortensen. Everybody looking into all the family members, trying to point out, like, ooh, the drug dealers, and, you know, trying to, like, just trash the parents of the kids and looking. Brian Kohberger's the killer, everybody. There is no doubt about it. And guess what? He's been arrested for the murder, and his DNA was on a knife sheath left at the crime scene. I know that's, it's not good enough evidence for some of you guys, but hey, thanks, Heather. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. It says, wish I could give more often. Great content. Hey, well, appreciate it. Cy-Ray. So when did Cy-Ray testify? Ann said prosecutors said there is a video of him driving by Floyd's cannabis. Yeah, well, maybe they think it's him. Yeah. And she says it's not. I guess they'll have to prove it at trial, right? And she say it's not him because his phone pinged somewhere else? Is that what the reality is? That's when, I remember Cy-Ray. You guys ever looked up that guy? Yeah. Not the most credible that there is out there. Allegedly. He's some cell phone quote expert. Yeah. What do you mean, all Brian, no one else? That doesn't make sense. Type a full sentence. Let's see. Always watch and like. Don't chat as much, but I'm here. All right. Very cool. So what do you guys think about that, though? Don't you think that... what do you mean, who? Who what? Type in a sentence, for God's sakes! I'm not being arrogant, Coley. I'm just listening to people like you, and it's embarrassing, okay? So instead of being embarrassing, just try to see. Here's what the deal is in real life, you guys. If somebody's confident about something, they're arrogant when they aren't listening to absolute garbly, gook, nonsensical BS. All of a sudden, they're arrogant, or they're a narcissist, or they're this, or they're that. Instead, why don't you just realize that sometimes people are confident about something. They know what the reality is. I've covered thousands of cases, literally. And I'm just telling you, there is zero chance that Brian Kohberger isn't the killer in this case. Now, you might want to get him off somehow. You can go ahead and try to do it. You can sell a bunch of crap to a bunch of people and try to taint the jury pool with nonsensical garbage. I tell you what, though, I haven't been covering the case for a while, and during that time, the entire YouTube covering of the case is like the insane asylum covering it. I don't know what happened. Isn't there anybody else out there that's rational and looks at it? Instead, you got the defense attorneys. Oh, they've been trying to find an angle every single show of how to get him off. And I gotta say, I don't want a quadruple child, not child, but a quadruple killer off walking around on the streets. Do you? That's just it, Gray. I'm not convinced he did it. God, then what do you need, for God's sakes? Let's see. Yeah. Hey, Coley, why don't you go bring your arrogant ass somewhere else, okay? Yeah. And by the way, if you're going to be arrogant yourself, be good at it, because you suck, okay? You're inaccurate. You don't say anything that's interesting. And at that point, that's when you realize, oh, man. Go do something else, all right? They seem to have overwhelming evidence on him. Yeah, you'd think. You'd think, Yeah, look at this idiot. Here it is. Exactly my point. Let's prove all of this in court and not on a podcast for money. Yes, I have a monetized YouTube channel, everybody. I spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours putting my shows together, just like a television program might put time together putting their shows. And none of you clowns like Coley up there give a damn when Court TV or anybody like that gets in a ad revenue, right? I have a channel, and I need the support of all of you guys. I'm not ashamed to say that you guys support the channel. I get ad revenue myself, and I think a lot of times my coverage is better than what those guys put out because they cater to what's popular. I just tell you what the reality is. All right? And there's many times where I've been on these shows. Like I've been on Court TV like 15 times or so. And when I'm on there, I oftentimes are not able to get out what I want to say because of the limited time frame. And that does make you sort of frustrated because I could absolutely destroy a lot of the comments that people make out there, but they just don't, it doesn't work that way. You're sort of limited to a specific thing to talk about, all right? And if you don't want to support my channel, you don't have to, okay? But yes, I have a monetized YouTube channel. This is what I do. I think he might actually plead guilty. I think these are all last-ditch attempts because here's what you can all, I can guarantee you this, that in the background, the prosecution has incredibly damning information that the defense has seen, and therefore they're trying to get the fruit from the tree all thrown out because it led to that information, and they know that they have it. And guess what? Ann Taylor's never going to talk about that in public, just like in the Delphi case. They never wanted to bring up some of the bigger items because they wanted to build up a fan base, and it would bum out all of their supporters out there. So they don't say those things, and the prosecution doesn't say them because they don't say them. And when the trial happens, all this other evidence is going to come out, and it'll probably just be so damning. And I think they know that that exists. And if all these last-ditch attempts do not squash that, the best option might be to plead guilty. But I hope if they plead guilty, part of it is him explaining what he did, and there being sort of a panel that it goes through the case and the evidence they had against him. You know, we don't need to see the crime scene photos or anything like that, but it'd be great to see all of the information. I think that's a possibility. Right. And I do like being, like, Vinny's really cool, you know, when I'm on Court TV, like, he's, you know, I think he sort of even gets how I am and you know, how I think and stuff like that. Like, you see him smile. Like, the other day, one time I was on her a couple weeks back, I was like, and he goes, okay, go ahead. What do you want to say? It was in the Delphi, the information that came out by the defense. There it is. It's a house. All right, guys, we are currently still 50 short of the goal. If we get 50 more in here, I'll donate 5 memberships myself, and then we'll have, how many will we have in here? We will have 27. That'd be pretty sweet. If he's getting fan mail from these idiots, he might think he'd be in with a chance in court. Right. Brian, we're here to support you, man. When you get out, if you want to babysit my kids. And by the way, I think you're really hot, man. If you want to go on a date or something, I think it'd be fantastic. You know, I do have nice birthing hips that you might enjoy. You know, that's what it seems like. I don't know what these people are thinking. It's just... yeah, I think it'd be cool to do our own little show, me and Vinny on YouTube or something, because he's really good at the you know, just kind of keeping a conversation going and different ideas and thoughts. Put a 1 if you sort your garbage and put your own garbage into the neighbor's garbage can. Doesn't any Kohberger think that's a little suspicious? Just a little bit, you know? Coley, if you're still out there, do you think that's a little suspicious? Yeah. Or you're probably blocked by now. Nice birthing hips. It's not, it's, okay, look, when he said nice birthing hips, you got to admit, it's worse than when I told a woman that her eyes look like a lizard, okay? That's worse, because that's directly related to some sort of activity. Hey, can you guys hit the like button for me? There's only 209 likes in here. That's ridiculous. So let's go ahead and hit that. Wow, what the hell was that? Let's go ahead and hit that like button right now. Then hit that 20, 25, 30. Hit that like button 40, 45, 50. Hit that like button 60. Use your nose, use your toes, whatever blows. Hit that like button. It's one of the easiest damn things to do in the world. You just hit the like button. It's very simple. You pull out your finger, you press the button. And by the way, if you don't have a finger, use your nose. If your nose is broken, use your toes. Whatever blows, just hit the damn like button. Okay? It's not hard. Alright, so right now we need 52 more, and then I'll give away 5 memberships. Is that possible with all the freaks in here? 378 people? What is that, a quarter a piece? I think you can do it. Use your birthing hips. She went into the bathroom and pretended to be sick because he was tickling her. I don't remember that part. I just remember he went into the bathroom because he was weird or something, and then she pretended she was sick, and then was it a message where he sent back, "You've got nice birthing hips"? Okay, my story is, if you missed it, was I was in a bar and there was this cute waitress in there, and she came in after that, bought some drinks. She sat down at the table with me and we were talking, and I thought she had really exotic, pretty eyes. But what came out of my mouth was, "Man, your eyes look like a lizard." Every time I say it to myself, it's funny. But she took off, She went to a different table. You would think she would just laugh at it, though, right? Like, wouldn't she just kind of go, "Oh, that's hilarious, man. That's hilarious. Well, what do you mean, lizard?" And I was said, "Well, they're really exotic, really pretty." And she'd go, "Oh, okay. I've never heard them described as a lizard." So that was probably somebody that wouldn't have worked out, right? Because you think you could get a little chuckle out of it or something. Yeah. It's not, so that's not as bad as saying, "Hi, how are you doing?" "Yes, you know what? I think you have very nice birthing hips." Okay. It's not even close, because that one is like you're already down in a bad place. I just had a shitty delivered compliment. Okay. Although you could say, well, saying she had nice birthing hips was come on. Man, you know what? When I set the goal to get the other 52 in here, it's been 0. Okay, so is there any chance that you guys can get out there and let's get that going so I can donate the 5 memberships? That'd be fantastic. Hips and lizard eyes. Nice try, lizard eye. Yeah, it's alley cake. I don't think people are interested. Strangely. Not sure what's going on. You shot your shot. I did. I gave it a whirl, as they say. Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't go beach. You're a very strange person. I got to be honest with you. Every time I read a comment from yours, it's disturbing. Let's see. I don't even have $1. Alright guys, but if you're out there, if you can support the channel, that'd be great. We got some goals to try to reach on a nightly basis. Yeah, I'm not really interested in that guy, Eddie. So, I'm gonna have to get rid of that comment. That guy's he steals work from other people and then edits it and changes it a little bit. So I'm not really interested. Thanks. He always all he ever did was come on my channel only when I'd cover Delphi and try to get everybody to watch his videos on his channel. Not interested. Let's see. How much are the notebooks? Oh yeah, well if you send 30 in to PayPal, you get a notebook with the... You already sent that in though. On your other... If you send 30 into PayPal, you get the notebook, which is this one right here, by the way. Here, let me show you guys this. This is the new notebook right here. GHI. Then there's... I don't know where it went, but there... Oh yeah, there's a stress ball right here. It's a Freak Heart stress ball. Then you also get a Freak pen. And then there was also a, I think that's what I heard rolling around on the ground. It was like a poker chip. So that's pretty sweet. No, that's a new one though. I just made this GHI notebook. I haven't had that one yet. Hey, thanks Elizabeth Brown and Bridget Bauman. So now we are only 38 short. Not bad. I just need the notebook. No. Is the address correct on your PayPals? I'll send you one. It might be a while. I got to build up. There's been no new orders, unfortunately. I ordered a whole bunch of notebooks and all this stuff, but I've only sent out 11 so far. I just need the notebook. Oh, you have the blue one, pen, mugs, and squeezy. Yeah, I had a Chloe notebook too. Hey, it's Play-Doh, not Play-Doh. Hey, do you guys want to take a look at this other... it's this crazy serial killer. I think it was... I'm not... Who sent that to me? Was that... Alley Cake? Is that you? It's... they're the serial killer truckers. I mean, the FBI thinks there's hundreds of them. I mean... And that's what I always say. What a perfect job. You're at these... truck stops, and not a perfect job, I mean a perfect industry to be, a job to be in, I guess, if you're going to be a serial killer, because you're always on the move. I don't know what that means, Solus. It doesn't make any sense. Hey, thanks, MKM. Yeah, so check it out. Let's see. Data indicates there could be hundreds of truck driving serial killers at large. Jesus. Just what we always thought. As data indicates that hundreds of truck driving serial killers could be at large, a best-selling book is highlighting the most gruesome cases as law enforcement officials try to warn potential victims. And I always tell you that it's the sex workers that show up at these places. It's a familiar plot for TV shows and movies. Murderous truck drivers prowling U.S. highways for victims. Federal Bureau of Investigation data indicate that there are likely hundreds of homicidal truck drivers who have never been captured, although the percentage overall of long-haul truckers who become killers is small. Many of those who did have driven across Nevada. Patrick Carnes, 86, of Reno, may have been a victim in 2011. He disappeared while driving in tandem with a long-haul trucker along the so-called the Big Lonely Interstate 80. Judith Casita 62 disappeared 5 years earlier. Both victims' vehicles were found in the same field a half-decade apart. That's pretty crazy, right? I mean, their vehicles are found in the same field. Detectives come to believe that one or two serial killer truckers were picking up victims along I-80. Frank Figluzzi, former FBI assistant director, headed some of the disturbing investigations. This is from 2 days ago, this article. I've seen some gruesome things in 25 years as an FBI agent. The typical target of serial killer truckers is younger women, either sex workers or hitchhikers, according to data from the FBI's Highway Serial Killing Initiative and information accumulated through thousands of miles in passenger seat with truckers as Figliuzzi researched the best-selling book Long Haul. So I guess the book Long Haul is about this. The data indicates there could be 450 long-haul truckers who are serial killers. Many of them are sexual predators, but some just like to kill. One indeed likes to control the outcome and loves the power and will prolong the torture, assault, and other horrors, Figliuzzi said. The other kind of serial killer simply wants to kill. He enjoys the power of... See, I think that's what Kohberger is. He just wanted to kill. You know, he probably had some hate somewhere, but the kill is what he wanted to go for. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. And then we got Alyssa Stedman. Didn't BK at some point, maybe when hiding behind a social media channel, ask whether anyone thought the killer showered? Yeah, you mean the Papa Rogers account after the killings? Does anyone else? I kind of remember that a little bit. I think the Papa Rogers account asked that question. And they also brought up the K-bar knife sheath. They said there must have been a K-bar knife used, but if they didn't find that, then the only way that they would know that is if the sheath was left. So that was pretty good deduction by whoever wrote that. Are you guys interested in this part, or we do need to? I mean, I know that like we can get back to Kohberger, but do you guys ever interested in anything else for a minute or two? I mean, this channel covers. I mean, I noticed we had 378. Now there's 355, just for the mere switching to a different topic for a couple minutes. All right. Don't worry, we'll get back to it later. Okay, I just wanted to. One indeed likes to control the outcome and loves the power and will prolong the torture and assault and other horrors. The other kind of killer simply wants to kill. He enjoys the power of life and death, and he kills quickly. One such suspected serial killer was Chester Todd, accused of a series of murders and assaults before going on the run. When I say assaults, it's the sexual variety. If you use a certain word, YouTube just goes psst. He surfaced in Las Vegas, living under an assumed name in 2011. Another is Wayne Allen Ford, who had, listen to this. Another is Wayne Allen Ford, who had a severed breast in his pocket when he turned himself into police in 1998. He admitted to 4 murders, and 3 of his victims had been dismembered. The body of Tina Gibbs, a 26-year-old victim of Ford's, was found in Northern California, not far from his home. Robert Ben Rhodes, this guy sounds like a nut job, a particularly vile example, built a torture chamber in his truck. Think of this, man. A traveling torture chamber. This was probably in Dexter, you know. He murdered 2 couples. He picked up hitchhiking, one in Utah and one in Texas. Rhodes is suspected in dozens of other murder torture cases. Rhodes picked up a 14-year-old girl hitchhiking and hooked her up from fish hooks inside his torture chamber in his rig. Over the course of several weeks across many states, he assaulted her and tortured her, leaving her for dead in an abandoned farmhouse. So he just drove her around, kept her as a... I mean, it's just insane, right? The most vulnerable pool of targets of such criminals are so-called lot lizards, or sex workers, they call them, found at many of the nation's truck stops. And this is what I've always said. When people used to hitchhike, truckers, etc., had their pick of anybody they wanted. They just drive down the highway, there's a hitchhiker, boom. But people quit hitchhiking because of how dangerous it was. But sex workers are still the only people still out there that will willingly get into somebody else's vehicle, putting themselves in a very dangerous situation. And that wasn't in the article. That was just something that I'm telling you. It's true. Okay. The most vulnerable, and now it makes sex workers even more dangerous. They're in way more danger because they're not dangerous themselves. I mean, they're in much more danger because there's not, the pool of people is shrunk to just them. You get it? The most vulnerable pool of targets of such criminals are so-called lot lizards. Right, and that's exactly right. He said educating these women about the dangers is tough. Many of them have drug addictions and poor judgment, move around a lot, and don't let the family know where they are, so one is likely to report them missing. No one is likely. And by the way, right now we just need 25 more, and I'll give away the 5 memberships. The research that comprised Figley Uzi's book wasn't just to educate the public, but also to help educate law enforcement officials, many of whom are unaware of the FBI database dedicated to long-haul trucker killings. If I have one message to any law enforcement officer listening, it's get your unsolved cases, especially involving roadside killings, into the FBI database. And I've said that many times. There's so many cases out there where, you know those off-ramps or on-ramps? They find a body there. I would say almost every one of those is from a trucker who killed somebody, dumped them, and got right back on the freeway, never to be seen again. That's what I think. All right, and then they're actually on the FBI website right here is right here. And this is the, well, it says archive here, but Highway Serial Killings, New Initiative on an Emerging Trend. So that's actually an article from April 6, 2009. Hey, thanks, Karen Messenger. Hey, we're down to 15. And that was only your 5th super chat on a live stream. Thank you. I feel honored. In 2004, an analyst from the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation detected a crime pattern. The bodies of murdered women were being dumped along the Interstate 40 corridor in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi. The analyst and a police colleague from the Grapevine, Texas Police Department referred these cases to our Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, or VICAP. I've heard of that many times, where our analysts looked at other records in our database to see if there were similar patterns of highway killings elsewhere. Turns out there were, so we launched an extensive effort to support our state and local partners with open investigation into highway murders. Today we publicly are announcing our Highway Serial Killings Initiative to raise awareness among law enforcement agencies and the general public about this issue and our unique assistance on these cases. First, some background. The victims in these cases are primarily women who are living high-risk transient lifestyles, often involving substance abuse and prostitution. They're frequently picked up at truck stops or service stations and sexually assaulted, murdered, and dumped along a highway. Hey, wow, thanks, John Dunn, and welcome to Lisa Taylor, Animal Lover, Uncommon Sense, Lollipop, and Bootsy. The suspects are predominantly long-haul drivers, but the mobile nature of the offenders, the unsafe lifestyle of the victims, the significant distances and multiple jurisdictions involved, and the scarcity of witnesses or forensic evidence can make these cases tough to solve. Enter VICAP, part of our National Center for Analysis of Violent Crime and National Repository for Violent Crimes, the database which contains information on homicides, sexual assaults, and missing persons and unidentified human remains. And we actually have a fund where through Identifinders International we've put over close to $100,000 in there for identifying Jane and John Does, and we've already got, I think, 5 or 6. One of the people that we identified, we didn't do it, but we paid for the identification through Identifinders, Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick, and at the time, Misty Gillis. We identified the victim of a serial killer. There was 12 victims, 11 had been identified, 1 was never identified, but we paid for it and had her identified, and she got her name back, and her family knows who she is, but they didn't want her name out there. But we did that one. We also, probably the biggest one we ever did, you could ask Plato about it. That was her. She loved that one. We all did. But it's Daniel Armentrout, 1960. He was a hitchhiker in Alabama, I think it was, and Bibb County. And he was just hitchhiking, young kid. And he was in a car, and the car went off a bridge, kind of slid into the water, and the driver lived, but this person died. This hitchhiker, I think he was like 16 years old or something. And when they pulled him out of the water, he looked totally normal and everything. There's these pictures of him where he looks basically like he's sleeping. He had RY plus love scratched on his arm like a tattoo. There was even these little dry cleaning things, but they could never identify him. But he also walked with a limp, and in the FBI document that we got, it said that he walked with a limp. So I gave that to Misty Gillis and the other individuals, Misty Gillis really, and they did IgG, and over time they were able to, it was really expensive because we had to do certain processes called like enrichment and different things because the bones were so old. But they were able to identify him, and they got a hold of a relative in Germany, and the relative in Germany told them that, he walks with a limp. He must, the guy that you're looking for the person that they thought it was, he said, well, it can't be him because he walks with a limp. And then Misty Gillis had the FBI document that I gave her, and it said he probably walked with a limp. And the relative said he had polio. So, it was really crazy. Anyways, it led back to an individual named Daniel Armentrout. He had one surviving brother that's like 70. He was really old, and he lived in Florida, I think, and he went all the way to Alabama. And he decided to let his body stay there because for all those years, from 1960 all the way until recently, the entire community would take care of him. They'd put flowers out, they write articles, and they just really cared for this person. It was unbelievable. And, so one of the cool things the sheriff said at the end, he said, at first he was thanking me or whatever, and then he said, but we want to thank all you freaks for what you do. It's like, yeah! Yeah, anyways, so it was just really cool. That was like the coolest one we've done. We gave the name back to a person that had a really interesting story. One of the other interesting elements is that he was one of 3 brothers, and one of his other brothers disappeared and has never been found. So wouldn't it be crazy? This is what I think would be insane. It's like we do another case from 1967, a body that was found, and we identified it. It turns out it's his brother. Ah, God, wouldn't that be just insane? But anyways, nobody knows where that person is. All right, you guys, we're 14 short now. See, this is why, on my shows when I'm constantly going, hey, everybody, if we can bring in, that's the only way at the end of the month that I can give to these types of organizations, right? And so I think that my channel is worthy of the support from the people, whether you be channel members, but on a nightly basis, I try to bring in certain revenue so that we can continue to do all these things, because I know what it takes. And you know, last month wasn't very good, and this month started off terribly, but it's getting a little better now, so hopefully we'll see how it goes. But right now we're just 14 short of reaching the goal, and then I'll actually give away 5 memberships. Can you guys do that with 347 people watching? Should be pretty simple. All right, let me keep going through the... VICAP analysts have created a national matrix of more than 500 murder victims from... Oh, and by the way, we do have a scholarship fund that I mentioned earlier, too. More than 500 murder victims from along or near highways, as well as a list of some 200 potential suspects. Names of suspects contributed by law enforcement agencies are examined by analysts who develop timelines using a variety of reliable sources of information. And then sponsoring free regional training sessions on our highway serial killings initiative for law enforcement agencies located near major interstate and highways, educating victim advocacy, etc., etc., etc. But anyways, I'd love to have access to this. See who's... I mean, you can just look at that. There's a highway. Look at how it goes along. There's these bodies. That's crazy. More than 500 cases in our highway serial killings initiative. And this was back in 2009. So I wonder what the hell that looks like today. You know what sucks is to go on a long spiel like that, and you try to get to $14, and it just doesn't even happen. It's just like, come on, you guys. Man, unreal. Do you have any idea why Richard Allen would be moved to Pendleton Correctional? I don't know. I don't know why. Who cares? Richard Allen is a killer. And wherever they put him, hopefully it works better. Was he just moved there recently? You guys want to see what the response was for the the defense just responded to the prosecution's reply in the Delphi case? You guys interested in that? Or do you want to... We can go back to... I don't mind going back to Idaho. We can do that one tomorrow, that response. I don't really care. Isn't that crazy, Alley Cake? It seems like it should be so simple, but it's just so hard these days. I've heard they do that so prisoners don't have to have time to get... Oh, there we go. Hey, look at that. K-Me did the 14. My God, you guys. It's always the same people, which I absolutely appreciate. But, man, wouldn't it be great if somebody else would step up in there? Thank you. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's do the... I always feel bad for the same people who support me every single day, and yet you guys are awesome. But man, I'd love it if other people would, you know. I know everybody, the economy isn't that great, but I'm sure out of 300 something people, every one of them isn't broke. All right, so let's do the. I'm gonna go ahead and do the membership gifting. Here we go. I'm going to do just like John Dunn, the legend. I see John Dunn all the time. He just doesn't know that I see him. Right? Are you still out there, John Dunn? Yeah, I see you all the time. On right side. I'm always like, I'll be watching stuff over there, and you're just like in there. I think it's so cool. Anyways, there we go. We got Angel's Eyes, Jenna Joy, Mia Wallace, A.H. Dogs. Yeah, no, Long Haul. I think I might try to buy that. I bet you there's an audio version of that. I love those. You can just kind of play them when you're driving around. Sometimes it makes you wish you had like a 2-hour drive to work so you could just listen to books. In a week, you get through one. And you can move on to the next over and over and over and over and over again. Right, well, you have to make yourself available to be a member. So, I always feel weird when somebody says, I'd like to have a member. It's almost like, I always feel like those are the ones that we don't get to choose who gets them. What do you mean whatever's good? Paying it forward. All right. So anybody have any more questions about the Idaho 4? Anything you want to talk about? I'd love it if you guys could prove to me some of these things. Like, I'd like to see this thing that you guys keep telling me about where apparently Bethany Funk says that she saw somebody undressing. Yeah, if you can find that for me, that'd be great. But if it's any time before 4 o'clock, it's irrelevant. It's just another drunk person. 4:08 is the time that the white Elantra pulled up, parked its car, and then left at a high rate of speed at 4:20. Brian Kohberger drives a white Elantra. His white Elantra is missing a front license plate, just like suspect vehicle 1. And inside that house, between 4:08 and 4:20, a knife sheath was left, which had his DNA on it, next to 2 victims of him. Really obvious stuff. Wouldn't it be all over the internet? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Seems like if that was true, it'd be all over the place. Court TV doesn't miss anything. How come Court TV hasn't had a show yet talking about what Bethany Funk said? You know why? No, I think it's. I love seeing you over there, though, John Dunn. I'm right with you. I'm like, oh man, it's awesome. You know, like just during that whole process for the last year or so, man, what a nightmare. But man, everything feels right now. His father reported him to police when he stole his sister's phone. I wonder if his family will testify. Well, his sister is... well, I remember in one of the documentaries for TV, the sister said something. Yeah, they've been doing it since the first time around, right? Or maybe right after that ended. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, really? Wow, I never saw those original ones. Yeah, it's huge now. Yeah, it's amazing. They could probably work on some of their... Get some little bit different hosts in there sometimes. Oh, I see. Must be a little bit behind. I can't believe they're still on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 56. Who? Who are you talking about? His father reported him to police. Oh, RSBN, yeah. Yeah, it's been... I don't know when it started, but it seems like it was during the first term or near the end of it. Something like that. Well, no, that's not true at all. It was way back, because Lookner used to be on there. So he did Mandalay Bay. That's when I heard about RSBN, because Lookner used to be on that channel, but he's the complete opposite now. Like, he probably just did that to get experience. He's like a CNN type guy, you know. Remember that though? I think Lookner was on Right Side Broadcasting, and he was on there when the Mandalay Bay attack happened. He had that all wrong. Let's see. Ben RSBN. Whatever he was, it was weird. So, can somebody send me the Bethany Funk comment? I mean, you always get the trolls that show up and expect you to have every single piece of new information, but when you ask them, well, where is this? They don't show it to you. They never know where to point it, and they just were told that by some other YouTuber, and it became a fact. What I show you is real stuff. You notice that? Like the the actual surveillance and timing and audio. And I actually really do think that Brian Kohberger he never left the area after his third loop. I think there's a very good chance at that, because the audio of the car driving by doesn't match very well. It's possible, though, he went up Elantra Drive and came back around. Don't know. But they said the first 3 passes, and then on the 4th, when he left on Elantra. So I don't know or Elantra is what it is. Yeah, that was crazy. Unbelievable. I was so happy though. No, you're not blocked. Why do you think you're blocked? You haven't commented tonight, so why would anybody respond to something that you never commented from? That was 2015. I think you must be behind about 5 minutes or so, John Dunn. When you hear this, maybe fast forward it. All right. So I actually did this whole drive. It's crazy. But one of the things that was really interesting for those that are new to my channel was that when I drove, so you're right here at 420 at a high rate of speed, and then he left just like how I have it here, and he came out on Palouse River Drive here, and he would have got here at 425. And then he gets on this highway there, and he should have passed Blaine, Idaho here at 331 ish, and his phone pinged there at 448. And it's also possible, though, that he took this route very out in the middle of nowhere, like this, and then turned his phone back on somewhere around in this area, and then came back out right here, and maybe even turned his phone on when he's right there to get bearings, and then he crossed like that. I don't know, but there is 16 minutes of missing time. This here, though, makes up that time. However, if he goes on this highway like they have it, he's missing time, and so that means he went somewhere, maybe to I don't think any killer wants to drive around with bloody clothing and stuff like that sitting in their car, right? So he probably went somewhere and discarded it. No, it shouldn't have, Miss Tay. It shouldn't have. I totally disagree with you, and you're in fact wrong. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, we could sit there for 6 years. It was there for 13 months. They had the time to Faro scan it, take as many photographs as you can. They'll have a great representation of it. We don't need to have houses standing in communities for years and years and years just to get somebody. I mean, when we have crimes in cities, we don't cordon off the street for 5 years until the trial. Well, that's not fair, Gray. They should have been able to visit the crime scene the way it was. Well, I don't agree. Yeah, the photographs are good enough, okay? Sometimes if you use a sword and YouTube no list, then a comment won't show up. Oh, swear word. Yeah. Sometimes your comments get removed if you use a word that I have banned or YouTube has banned. Well, hey, TRPP, I don't care, okay? I haven't seen you ever comment in my life in here, so if you're going to be a whiner, see you later. Let's see. Children can handle death better than Idaho, it seems. Y'all know what that means. Miss Tay, that doesn't make any sense at all. You're not the one from the Kanika Jenkins case, are you? I sure as hell hope not. Let's see. Right. Exactly. What happened, John? That you're behind? Had to get rid of the clothes, etc. He probably had a place to dump. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he just kind of drove down here and pulled into some place. But that's still, like, 16 minutes is a long time. Oh, it's okay. That's probably, I mean, 16 minutes is enough time to sort of even dig a hole or something like that. Okay, well, you're fine now, but you said, but Gray is wrong. I comment. Well, we haven't seen any of your comments, okay? So, I'm not wrong. You might have typed something and it got deleted, but we can't see it. Well, we only got 268 likes, everybody. We need some more likes in here. Hit that like button. All right, you weren't whining. It's okay. You're not blocked or anything, but you can't use certain words, swear words, etc. And I have a bunch of words that are not allowed in here myself. Okay? So, just the way it is. Be safe, stay healthy, everyone. What time is it? We got another 29 minutes or so. I'm just waiting for more questions, you guys. There's none. You guys aren't talking about anything. Throw something up there. There must be some things. I'm gonna just keep making videos that are logical and talking about different things. Because there's such a lack of it. So if you make videos that aren't there, like I'm assuming, because it's true, that Kohberger is the killer. So my videos are all going to be sort of from that angle and sort of higher level where you're actually working through different things to sort of show that how he is the person, where these other clowns are out there looking for the real killer, which they have unlimited supply of videos. They can look at Bozo the Clown, whatever they want to do, Do you think Brian Kohberger ordered the food? No, I don't. I think, I'm not sure why people keep saying that stuff. I think that Kohberger just happened to be there at that time. Xana ordered her food, right? I mean, where does it say that she didn't order it? I'm just not sure where that comes from. It just seems like this prevailing... Let's see, where is this? Yeah, let's see right here. There it is. One word. All right. Dill Mortensen and Bethany Funk both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2, so that 156 is probably... as a matter of fact, I'm almost positive that would be Madison and Kaylee coming home. We just don't see the car in it. And asleep, at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash. Now, you say, well, she received it, but who ordered it? Well, she ordered it, for God's sakes. I mean, hello. Why would she even look for a DoorDash if she didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess I can't absolutely say for certain, but I mean, doesn't it really just sort of obvious, This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash. Now, you hear the word received and think, well, somebody else ordered it. At the residence at approximately 4 a.m., law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. Doesn't that answer all of your questions? Just that sentence right there? When you hear what I just read to you right there, what does that mean to you? Because the last part, law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. So that means that that's not Brian Kohberger, or they would have put it there. That's not him. And she received the DoorDash. Now, you're going to say that some random person ordered her a DoorDash and she was like, yeah, let me go get that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess anything's possible. I'd be shocked if that's true. Everybody keeps saying that, though, Tracy Harrison Sass, over and over and over and over again. Hey, what happened to your membership, by the way? You used to be a freak. I don't know, because people do that, Mark. You know, what do you mean? Why did she order DoorDash at 4 in the morning? If your plan is to go to Bundy in the house. Oh, I see. You're going the other way around. I mean, I thought you were talking about why did they order it? Right. Why would he order it? I get what you're saying. I thought you were saying why did Xana order it? If your plan is to go Bundy in the house. You just woke someone up. Right. You would want to sneak in. That's a good point. I like that one. Yeah, you are. You're embarrassing? Help me, Rhonda? Is that what you're saying? Or I'm not sure what you're saying. It looks like you're saying that you are embarrassing. What happened? I think everybody, you know, just let us know what you want to say. We'll tell you if you're embarrassing or not. Go ahead. What is it? Come on, Rhonda. What is it? We'll let you know if you're embarrassing or not. Go ahead. What are you guys talking about? I think I only have it on top chat. Maybe that's the DoorDash driver is lucky to have not ran into BK. Right. I don't know. I think he was just going to let that person leave anyways. That'd be kind of dumb to kill somebody right outside the house like that. He was going inside to kill people that were sleeping. I don't think so. I don't think anything that Ann Taylor said is warranted at Frank's hearing. And the reason is, you know why? Here's the sentence. I think they get a probable cause every day of the week and on twice on Sunday, because the blood on the knife sheath is all that matters. A Frank's hearing isn't warranted unless he somehow deems the DNA invalid, and then all of a sudden that's not there anymore, and then, you know, then there's a problem. But so everything comes down to his ruling on the DNA. But I think he'd be a moron if he voted to throw out the DNA. There's no reason to at all. The DNA, IgG, are people out there, and they just generate a tip. That's it. You're embarrassing for not accepting the facts in the case. Has Vinny not taught you anything? What facts are those? Help me, Rhonda. Go ahead. I think I've taught some people on Court TV some stuff, you know, like real factual information behind the scenes. Okay, I've done it. So what is it? Help me, Rhonda. Go ahead. You seem like a genius in your own mind. But let us know what you're thinking here. What are the facts that I'm not accepting? Go ahead. Put out one. All right. Don't block. Help me, Rhonda. Don't time out. Help me, Rhonda. I want Rhonda to help me help you. The regurgitation of mainstream media. Oh, the regurgitation of main... Oh, my God. I'm not regurgitating mainstream media. I'm by myself. Mainstream media... Everybody else wants to go the Kohberger is innocent route. Okay? You sound like one of the clueless clowns that watch an actual clown. Like a literal clown on YouTube, and you watch him as if he is legit. You know, you probably even follow this guy right here. Listen to this.
We're all Richard Allen!
We're all Brian Kohberger!
You pieces of shit got to the jury, didn't you?
You probably believe in that too, huh? But great facts or whatever anyone wants to say. Yeah. It's amazing the things that the pro-burgers, you know, like Help Me Rhonda up there, the things that they actually believe is true, right? They just sort of listen to what their clowns and the UK guy who make 19 videos a day and all these other people that just are so hell-bent on finding the, quote, real killer. You pieces of shit got to the jury, didn't you? Come on, Rhonda, what is it? Give me one of the facts that you're talking about that I'm ignoring. Just one. Hey, Tay, are you, you're not from the Kanika Jenkins one, are you? I didn't see what your answer was. I don't know where he discarded the knife. You know, I'd kind of mark some of these areas, like over here, like in this area somewhere, because you can kind of, you know, like sort of get over there somehow. I don't know how, you know, there was roads that I was looking at. I don't know if they're right there. But I don't know. I circled this area because it's sort of off the road, and then you would then have to get back over here. But somewhere inside this main circle right here. That's where I think he hid the knife. I don't know. Because if it pinged in Blaine, there's a cell tower right here. And I think that's the one. See how you can actually see the tower right here? I've got all those things marked out. Name another YouTuber that has all that like that. Did you know he hasn't been convicted yet? Ooh. Yeah, I know. I think he did it, though. Do you think OJ did it? Help me, Rhonda? When OJ was driving around in his white Ford Bronco, did you have any doubt at all that OJ was the killer? Did you tell your friends, oh, OJ did it? And I bet you did. But because you are one of the pro-burger whack nut jobs, you get offended when anybody says, yeah, Kohberger did it. You get upset about it, right? So I guess that's what the difference is here. I think 100% Kohberger is the killer, and therefore I'm going to say it as many times as I feel like it. If he goes to court, then sure, you know, it's innocent till proven guilty. The jury has to do all that. And here's what I'll tell you right now, just like in the Delphi case. If Kohberger somehow is found not guilty because there's whack jobs like yourself on the jury, there'll never be another investigation into the case because he is the killer. It'll just be closed. There won't be any more investigation, and it'll be people like you who are responsible for convincing so many people in society that there's just something isn't right here and probably affected the jury pool. Right. I'm not talking about OJ, though. Right, but I could say the same thing to you. Didn't you know he was innocent until proven guilty? Help me, Rhonda. How dare you say anything about him? Oh, gosh, you were so mean to OJ. Right. Look it. Help me, Rhonda. Listen to me. Help me help you. I'm surprised you guys haven't thrown me in jail. You guys it's been a long time since you've thrown me in prison. Who let the trolls out? I don't get why that is hard for people. Someone just randomly borrow his phone. Yes, everybody, to make the Brian Kohberger case work, this is what we have to believe. That sometime around 2:30 in the morning, Kohberger was asleep. And maybe a nut job named Brett Kopaka snuck into his house and took his car keys and his phone. And then he turned off the phone, even though he was trying to pin it on Kohberger. He turned it off to, well, then he had, he changed his mind. So then he drove over there, and then he drove the white Elantra around. But before he left, he rubbed the knife sheath button on Kohberger's hand. And then he took it out there, and then he killed all the people in the house, and then he left the knife sheath there, knowing that there's that little tiny bit of DNA on the bottom of the button. And then he got back in the car, and then he drove all the way back over to Kohberger's house, placed the keys back into the room and his cell phone, and then in the morning, Kohberger, just out of psychic ability, got into his car at 9 a.m. and drove back out to Moscow, Idaho, just to kind of drive around and look at the scenery. Then he drove home, and then oh my God, you guys. Do you guys sound how crazy you guys are? Honestly? You know how good I would be at the other side, you guys? Like, I should almost do spoof videos. Maybe I'll do one. Like, it'll just be totally humorous, sarcastic. But sadly, if I had taken the same video, the script and everything, and gave it to one of these crazy YouTubers, their viewers would believe it. They don't even have anybody that you see in the comments that go, you know what, this is just too much, man. This is a little weird. They all go, wow, you're the best, man. This is so interesting. And there's nothing interesting about it. Now on mine, I hope you guys type stuff like that, because I literally am showing you factual information. Like the surveillance footage, the different timing, all that stuff. It's just, I listen to these hearings too. Nothing's changed at all in them. Now they're just worse for Kohberger. Now we even have Ann Taylor admitting that right outside a quarter mile. Let's just measure it right here. Watch this. Ann Taylor admits that this camera right here absolutely identifies it as Kohberger's white Elantra. However, because the other cameras around here, you can't absolutely identify it. It looks like a white car and all that stuff, and it looks like an Elantra. They can't tell it's absolutely his, and of course it's not his at that point. So she's just being intellectually dishonest with you guys. So here we go. Look at from right here to right there, it's a quarter of a mile. So Kohberger's car is driving around during 3:30 to 4:20 in the morning, and it's a quarter mile from the house, yet none of the other, so there's so many white Elantras driving around at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it just so happens there's like 6 of them. They're playing musical chairs. Like, he'll drive up, the other one cuts in, and then he parks for a little bit, and the other one comes in. What's your question? I never got your answer if you were the person from the Kanika Jenkins case. There was like a Tay Zonday nut job that was in that. Just unbelievable. Pretended they were some forensic expert, just full of crap on a daily basis. Hopefully that wasn't you. Did you guys hear how nonchalantly Ann Taylor says that he was in the area driving around, just not at the crime scene? Right. Yeah, I saw it. And everybody watching it should have been like, holy crap, Yeah, one single solitary man with dexterity. Oh yeah, there's like 1,900 people in it, don't you know, Mark? It's amazing. They all drive around at 3:30 in the morning. This huge contingent of white Elantras. And amazingly, what they all do, they rotate. They'll take all their license plates off one night and then take the one off the next night. It's amazing. At one point, Brian Kohberger got mixed up between the feds thinking Brent Kopaka... Nah, what are you talking about, man? At one point, What? Yeah. Well, how about this? I think the knife sheath was a calling card. And it was He was going to be, eventually he'd be arrested someday, and he'd be called Kohberger the K-Bar Killer. Just perfect, isn't it? KB there too, huh? Let's see, Gray, bringing facts, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Help me. Didn't his phone connect to the Wi-Fi? Well, he utilized the same cell services as 1122 King Road, but there aren't a lot of cell towers out there. So that's a little bit, you know, a little, I guess you could say that's a little misleading, pretending that, oh my God, it's right there. However, we now know that his white Elantra is driving around right there. What was it again? It was, didn't his phone connect to, yeah. He utilized the same cell towers. Now, you know, I'm sure that, I mean, that was their original probable cause. I'm sure it's been refined and much more updated since then. I'd love to have the updated. There were hearings with cell tower information, and I watched those, listened to them, and it was just one guy claiming one thing and another guy claiming another thing. And you know, I think he even said that he just kind of visualized the cell tower stuff and came up with this. But I remember they did say that his phone was tracked around here, and these are where different cell towers are. So, you know, and the park that he said he went to was over here. And by the way, if his phone pinged near Blaine over here, it's impossible for him to go on to Wawaway Park and then back to Pullman, Washington by 5:30. I've figured it out. Amazingly, when I timed it from right here, okay, so I drove from right here. I think I even did it when I was near Blaine. I pretended it was 4:48, so just looking at your clock, and I drove like this. This time absolutely was perfect, minute-wise, to like being 5:25 when you drove right here. I mean, it was amazing. And that's taking this crazy route across. Yeah, the sheath isn't the murder weapon, right? It was just left there by the killer. Right. He had the knife in the sheath, right? Yeah. You never answered my question, Miss Tay. Have you ever answered my question up there? You're not the person from the Kanika Jenkins case? You mind just answering that so I can see that? The Price is Right game show gives away Elantras all the time. If you need a stupid theory, look up past winners now living... Jesus. That is got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Are the defense going to call the moon and the stars? God, who in the hell would even think of something like that? Mark, that's wild. I mean, somebody actually... Is there a YouTuber that said that? Well, the Price is Right gives out Elantras. Is there a winner in that lives in Moscow, Idaho? Wow. Some people can't be helped, and really... to believe a conspiracy theories over actual facts. She won't answer. Yeah, well, if you don't answer the question, Tay, I'm going to block you just because then I'll realize that's exactly who you were. Because you were a nightmare. All right, see you later. Maybe if you come back, I'll time you out first, okay? All right? So if you want to come back in 10 minutes, every single comment that you made all night's gone now. Maybe in 10 minutes, if you can answer that question, that'd be great. I asked you 100 times. Let's see. He was out night gazing. Oh, yeah, it was amazing. He's a regular old Copernicus. You know, he's out there just... they give away Elantras a lot. And figured I should go... Oh my God. So he won the Elantra, and before it was even registered, he used it to kill. Except he won it in 2016, right? He just kept it all those years. He waited 6 years to use it. You know what's amazing is that was 2022. I mean, Jesus. Well, it's not. It's just a little over 2 years. 2 years and a couple months, but 3 months. Oh yeah, he's looking at stars on a cloudy night. That's one of the things that's pretty difficult to do, but he was able to do it. Somehow with his visual snow, the beneficial effect is you have sort of a night vision ability to look through the clouds. It's amazing. We don't know what you're talking about. Help me, Rhonda. You're not as interesting as you think. I mean, you keep putting words in there, and you think everybody's like, "Hey, all right, man. You know, we're gonna," and it's just right. We go by facts. That's what this channel does. We've been doing it for years. Help me, Rhonda. Unfortunately, people like you aren't aware. But if you took my record in the cases that I've covered and figuring out exactly what happened, I would be at the very top of all of social media true crime. And I'm just telling you that that's the reality. There's cases in here that even my own freaks absolutely disagreed with me on, and I was right. Okay? Multiple times, and they're all like, "Holy shit, Gray." You know, they almost all like mutiny. You know, it wasn't really a mutiny, but they didn't believe it. They didn't believe what I was saying and showing them and figuring out. And then eventually when the truth comes out, it's like, oh, wow. So, you know, I have multiple those. And then the other ones are just like we all work together and we're kind of on the same page. And it is what it is. Hey, help me, Rhonda. I don't care if you've ever stood up for me. You're incorrect in this case. You are going to be wrong. Brian Kohberger is the killer. I'm sorry for your ignorance. I don't want somebody like you sticking up for me. Wow, you're not interesting. All right, let's see. Notice how you were the original one doing the map animation. Then boom, they always copy all that. Everything that I do, everybody copies. You know, and they try to pretend. They don't know how to do it. They just pretend that they know it, and everybody goes, ooh, maps, you know. You got one YouTuber that always says, map time, like a little juvenile child, and it's just so stupid. It's like mapping is a key main part of a lot of cases because it lets you figure out how things are moving, the direction, you know, you can theorize based on locations, etc. It's just the way it is. It's sad I once stood up for you, bro. Please don't ever do it again, okay? It's just not, I'd be embarrassed if you did that. Let's see. Yeah, it sounds like a little kid every time they say it. Map time, everybody. Let me show you a bunny, too. Let's see. Thank you. Hey, thanks for the coffee there, Alex. I think I saw one show up on the screen. I don't see it yet in my... Oh, there it is. Well, thank you. Ouch. Ooh. Hey, help me, Rhonda. You're the one. It's all you tonight, okay? You've been really rude since you showed up in here. And everybody's seen it. So if you want me to pretend that you were nice, I'm not going to do it, okay? You were incredibly rude right when you showed up. You've been rude throughout the entire night. And I just, you know, I don't really have much to say to you, okay? I'm sorry for your behavior. It's been disgusting. All right, let's see. You just make me think of all the nights we... drug man street, and I can't remember what the purpose of that was. Let's see. Don't forget the clown makeup and funny voice. Yeah, what we should do is play some of this music. Yes, everybody, you too can watch a clown tonight. And maybe a guy from the UK, and they banter back and forth, talking about how Brent Kopacka is the real killer. Oh yes, and for another $19.99. Yeah. Look at, when was I rude? Can you guys believe that? Help me, Rhonda, type that in. When was I rude? Jesus. What was the first thing you said when you came in here? What the hell was that? Yeah. Oh, we also have this one too. I always want. Oh yeah, and the other one is this one. I like this one too. Yeah. So we got a lot of clown music in here. No, your first thing in here was you said that embarrassing. You remember that? Help me, Rhonda. You said this is embarrassing. You don't think that's rude as hell to show up to a show and immediately say that? So don't try to like pretend that you were just sort of came in here and you don't like the show. I think you're an actual troll, to be honest with you. You came in here to disrupt the flow of the show, and it worked. Look at me. I'm talking about your garbage. Kopacka was in no condition to pull off what he saw in Moscow. Yeah, I don't even care about Kopacka. He is irrelevant to the case. He has nothing to do with it. I guess the only time it's sort of relevant is when Kohberger and his father, when they were trying to deflect the police, brought up that case. I don't know if his father did that intentionally. I just thought it was strange how they quickly go, oh yeah, you guys see that other one? Like you wouldn't bring up the bigger case, the one with a quadruple homicide right down the road. You bring up this other sort of not, wasn't even a, I guess it was sort of a standoff, something like that. Right, you did help me, Ronnie. You did say that. You started off rude as hell, okay? So are you going to apologize for saying that? Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I think what you've been saying has been embarrassing. On this channel, I work through the factual elements of the case. I'm able to toss aside stuff that isn't... Okay, well, that's okay then. Help me around it, but you got to admit, like, you weren't polite when you came in. Nobody's going to be... put a 1 if you'd be welcoming to somebody if the first thing that they said when they came into your show was, "This is embarrassing." Put a 1 if you think that would be something you would really welcome and enjoy. It's ridiculous. And, the trolls are the ones that say that on a nightly basis. And so that's where I put you in that category. Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly, Plato. She's trying to rewrite history. It's not working. I'm glad some of you remembered what it was. Big of you. Jesus, ridiculous. Hey, look at that. It's GSU PM, man. They've been counting all night, man. They've been just like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just kidding. That was, it wasn't big of anything. She intentionally did that. Yeah, if you mean it, sure, that's great. Yeah, if you mean it, that's awesome. But it's hard to tell, because of all the other comments that were made. If you mean it, thank you. If you don't, then, What is the deal with all the circles and lines on the map? And what do you think he was doing? There is a line that don't connect and things don't link. What are you talking about? What do you mean when you say there is a line that don't connect and things that don't link? What are you talking about? Actually, that was what? I don't know what that means. Yeah, all these lines are things that, these are all over the 2 years, different things. Like, there's 16 minutes of missing time, so that's kind of what all of this is about here. And then these circles, like this circle, this circle, this circle, this circle, that's a, I believe I have it set at 3 mile radius from the center of the cell tower. Let's see. Yeah, 3 miles. I have 3 mile radius. And like there's a tower right there, see? So I'm showing, like when the car's driving around, where it might ping off of these. There's a cell tower there on Bald Butte, and there's one right there, and then there's a tower here, there's another one here, so I'm just kind of putting those all up there. What do you mean missing? What's missing? There's nothing that doesn't link or anything. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're, you know, you didn't type in a cogent sentence. You saw I was tripping, how rude you were. Shut up. Jesus. See what I mean, you guys? She's not genuine. Let's see. Okay, why did it not connect and you put it up? I don't know what you're saying, MS. I have no idea what you're talking about. You've got to type in a full sentence. Does anybody know what they're talking about? Okay, why did it not connect and you put it up? What? What didn't connect? What are you referring to? Do you guys see what I have to deal with here? It's just, it's mind-boggling. Shit. Here we go again, you guys. Here we go again. And good to see you, GSU, Kelly J, Jessica Schubach, etc. Flato, Sirius Black. What about it? What do you mean you do? You don't know what they're talking about. How would you know what they're referring to? The green line at the top of the screen. What about it? Why would they need to connect? Jesus, you guys. Why would I put it up if it doesn't connect? That's because I have it right here when he's leaving at 4:25, and then he gets on this highway, and this is what they have in the look it, watch. God, just every show, it's the same thing. Unreal. It's like scary almost. See this right here? This is from the probable cause document. You see that? That's exactly what they had in it. His route home. It goes right down like this all the way home. So I have it in there, and I found the route that matches that, and I drove it. Okay? What do you mean, why wouldn't they? They do. It's just the route home. He leaves here, drives down like this, comes up here, and makes it back into Pullman, Washington. I'm not sure what's confusing about that. He never met. I don't know how you even came up with that, Tracy. How you could figure out what the hell he was talking about. It doesn't make any sense. He never mentioned any colors or anything prior. I wasn't going to say anything, but did think it was weird that they didn't connect. What didn't connect? What are you talking about? What's wrong with you guys? Who cares? What lines were there? Man, this is weird. I feel like I'm in Twilight Zone all of a sudden. Why not go straight across in a circle? What in the hell are you talking about? What are you guys talking about? The innocent care? What does that even mean? Hey, help me, Rhonda. Can you just go do something else tonight? All right? If you type in another word, I'm going to block you. I'm just not interested in anything that you're saying and how you're responding, and you know, I'll time you out at least. I don't like it. Let's see. I mean, let's see. I think he came in late and didn't understand. What do you mean? You don't have to come in late to understand anything. This is... What isn't that doesn't connect here? I don't get what you're saying. What is supposed to connect that doesn't connect? Here, in this image right here. What is it that you guys are looking at that's bothering in your brain? I don't get it. I really don't. Is it that line right there? Because that doesn't connect? Is that what you're talking about? That one? Look, watch. See that? That goes right from the probable cause document. It's just the route home. There shouldn't be any confusion at all. Why would that even cross your mind as something that would be bothersome? It's weird. Let's see. And you thought numbers were crazy. Well, I thought it was strange why people were counting. Hey, let's do it again. What do you got? 1. There we go. There's a 1. And he wasn't understanding. He wasn't understanding the... I don't know what that means, MS. You don't make any sense still. Ah, jeez. You're a fruitcake, man. I mean, just a cuckoo. Listen, you guys. It's not. It's just a route home. He got here onto this highway, and he drove this direction, and he got back over here. It's not how he got there. It has nothing to do with that. I got to get rid of this person. They're just absolute. Maybe come back in 10 minutes, see if your brain works better then. $181. What happened? Oh, you guys got all the way up to there? Nah, don't worry about it. And do not tell the tardy students what 182, etc., means. Yeah, I don't really understand what's going on in here in the comment section. It just turned into a really strange thing. But other than that, it's been fun. Had a fun night. Jesus, what happened? My God. I mean, MS, the crazy person, and. Right, I've shown this on the screen for months, though, you guys, and even if it doesn't, what would make somebody's brain go, how come that doesn't connect? I need to have answers why it doesn't connect. The green line, it should go over there too. It's just weird. It's very odd. Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it? People have been under a lot of stress. Yeah, maybe. I think trolls do show up here and they try to act a certain way intentionally to try to throw things off. Yeah. I didn't have any idea what they were talking about. Why don't the lines connect? What's going on over there? What's going on? Oh my God. This is just 2 years worth of crap on there. Like these are the cell towers, the circles, right? This right here, I can't remember exactly. I think this was like, yeah, like where Kohberger would be during from 326 until 448. He's inside of this triangle here, somewhere in there. Unless, I guess, he took this weird outside route and came back in. Hey, it's Zozo, man. You missed all the crazy people in here tonight. It was unreal. I mean, most of the people were normal. You know, the normal cool people. But then these just really strange... you know, at least you figured out what he was talking about, Tracy. I had no idea what he was talking about. No, not even a clue. Where was he leaving when he went to drive by their house initially? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? He was right here at 326. The white Elantra drove by right there. So at some point he got there. I don't know how he got down there or anything, but it drove right here, and it's exactly the perfect timing. From right here at 326, you would be driving by this A&W at 328, and then at 329.49, it drives by right there, and then a minute 13 later, it drives by right here, and it goes back here, and then it repeats a second time later with the exact same timing. What do you mean, Washington State? What does that mean? Full sentences, please. There goes my stomach again. Was he coming from home, or... Yeah, he was at home. He was over here at in this area at like 2:44 in the morning, 2:53. You know, he's moving around. Like, he's at home. His phone pings where it's consistent with him being at home at 2:42, and then like maybe 2:44-ish, it's down here. 2:50. You know, they kind of changed some of the timing here. Like 2:54 is when his phone went into airplane mode. And so, you know, at that point, he must have, you know, whatever route he got there, and then at 326, he makes his way, and he's on this back road right here. Now, as I've seen, you can actually come in on there's certain roads that you can drive on, and then you end up, I think, right there. Let's see. See this road right here? It comes around. Let's see what the name of that is. I think it was Old something. Okay, Sand Road. And that comes around, and then so right here, like you could turn left in on Busby right there, and then just drive right down like this, and then up, and then you're right here, and then you come around, and then you're up into the neighborhoods, and then you go like that. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways he could get there, but he was out and about driving. And here's the thing: is don't worry about that. Like, don't get caught up in like where did he come from. You know, like he lived right here, right? This is where he lived. He was a doctorate student here. But all you have to know is this, is that his vehicle, if you don't want to believe, okay, what his attorney admits that he was driving by right here, and this camera verifies that it was him. Okay, and that must be between 3:30 and 4:20, or they wouldn't even be talking about it. Yeah, I knew you'd say something like that when you came in. It's like it's just always, you know, darn it. I hate predicting shit like that. I was late and didn't see any counting going on when I got here. So many questions. Maybe one day we'll get more answers. That makes sense. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter, you know. It's like his car is there. His attorney even admitted it. So he's there. And so when we look at it like that, then I don't know what we're counting. Let's see. Do you his apartment in Pullman? Do you his apartment? I don't know what that means. But what are we counting? I don't know. These guys just put numbers in. I've never figured out what they're doing. GSU and everybody. I don't even know what they're doing. They just type numbers in and somehow it helps support the channel in some way. Nobody knows what it means. Well, that's true, yeah. I'm just trying to cover the case and allow other people who are sick and tired of hearing the conspiracy theory nonsensical garbage. Sure, it's more entertaining, etc., but there needs to be somebody else out there. So it's going to be hard. I mean, I'll just keep making my videos when I can, and we'll, like tonight we talked about some other the serial killer trucker stuff going on, and tomorrow I'll probably talk about the Delphi. The defense came back to the prosecution's statements, and some stuff I was like, yeah, because I saw some of those same discrepancies when McClellan filed his response. So, things that I didn't hear said by the defense. So then you're wondering why he's mentioning those things, like, for example, Ron Logan. The defense never said Ron Logan said he burned the girl's clothes in a burn pit. He said he burned his own clothes in a burn pit. So it was weird that when that was mentioned, I go, oh, that's not what he said. And so they called that out, Yeah, but I'm still providing a place for other people to see the reality. We'll definitely cover all the different hearings and so forth, too. Well, check it out. Like Brian Kohberger would have been almost impossible to catch had he not left his DNA on that knife sheath on that little tiny spot on a button. The only single source DNA was on the bottom of a button, right? And that he's sitting there just going, "Gah!" He's so angry at himself. I bet you every day he just like punches himself in the face, wondering how in the hell he just let that little piece, because without that, you might have a car driving around and he'd be suspicious, but there'd be absolutely no way to prove that he was inside that house. And I think the Prosecution is so strange because they're working so hard they can't wait to try to get the DNA thrown out because they want to free a quadruple killer on like some technicality somewhere. It's just weird. The reason, so his DNA being on the knife sheath is, in this case, it's incredibly important. It's absolutely way more important. Like in the Delphi case, the bullet that appeared to be ejected from Richard Allen's gun, to me, was never really important because he was already bridge guy before that. And it turns out the jury didn't even use that piece of information. This case, the DNA on the knife sheath is crucial because, so let's say you don't have the DNA on the knife sheath, then that doesn't circumstantially link to the white Elantra that's doing loops out there. Okay? Now you have the DNA on the knife sheath, therefore the white Elantra that was moving around without its front license plate has to be Kohberger's. Like, it's unreasonable to believe that so look at it like this. It's unreasonable to believe that the white Elantra is not Kohberger's when you realize his DNA is on a knife sheath left inside of a window from 408 to 420 when the white Elantra was parked outside. Okay? It's unreasonable. However, you take away the DNA and it doesn't exist. How do you, and there's no, let's say there's no K-bar knife sheath or anything, and you're just like, okay, there's this white car going around. What links, there's no circumstantial evidence chain that makes you certain that that's Kohberger's white Elantra. Now, they might have a ton of more information, like a license plate, etc., And I think if you could do this, if somehow the 1112 King Road camera and other cameras showed that it was his license plate, that might be enough. But maybe not, because it doesn't put him inside the house. But if you could say that it parked from 408 and it left at a high rate of speed at 420, and they had some other type of forensic evidence tying him to the victims, then you could make a case. But I haven't heard of any of that yet. Have you? So right now, the DNA sample on the knife sheath is literally it's huge. And people go, well, it's just touch DNA. Hey, Miss Tay, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you the same person from the Kanika Jenkins case? All right, you get 30 seconds to answer that question. All right, go ahead. You got 30 seconds, and then we'll time you out again if we don't get the answer. Because I've asked you the question 5 times now, and you haven't answered, so, I think it's kind of rude. Oh, okay. Now it's no. Why didn't you answer all those other times I asked you? Right, yeah, the Amazon purchase is pretty big, but let's just say he didn't leave the knife sheath there, Travelcado. See, I think he intentionally left it there, but he thought he was so clever that he kept it all clean, and a lot of people order knife sheaths, so there's going to be no way to tie it back. But I guess if, it would be sort of interesting if that would have been something, that'd be kind of almost stupid, like if there was, no nope what? Okay, I'm going to put you on timeout again. You've typed that in too many times already. I don't know what you're talking about. So the thing is if in a case where the knife sheath was left intentionally, that would be kind of stupid, because had there been no DNA on the knife sheath, it's possible if they'd figured out that there's a white Elantra and they figured out that it could be Brian Kohberger's white Elantra, and then got a subpoena and figured out that he ordered a knife sheath on Amazon, and somehow, that would be pretty good circumstantial evidence to start tying together in a chain. You get it? So, there you go. Pretty weird. Let's see, like a calling card maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was a calling card, and I thought that's what he was going to start doing on all of his killings. Maybe he'd order some different thing on Amazon and leave it at each of the crime scenes, because he was a serial killer student of, right? Like his teacher, so he was probably thinking about something like that. Ooh, yeah, I'm going to do these killings. I got a calling card. Because if he did kill Xana first, how did it make it upstairs? And then it up there, after he'd already had a brutal battle with Xana and Ethan, somehow he makes it upstairs and has the knife sheath almost pristine, where he can just set it there. He must have had it nicely tucked away somewhere, interestingly. That is interesting, right? If this knife sheath was, he still had that when he killed Xana and Ethan, how come there's nothing else on that? Unless, they did say there was only one single source of DNA, so maybe there's mixtures that we're just not aware of. Maybe it's completely covered with blood, mixed all around, and it's just the underneath the button there was a single source. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know what that means. What do you mean, sorry, Gray, Kelly J? Who's Kelly J? What are you talking about? I know, Rigo Wrangle. Most truck drivers are normal people. But, Rigo, I bet you when you've been at some of your truck stops, you've seen some dodgy types that you wonder about, right? Because that is the perfect job for serial killers, right? Like they You get the sex workers that show up at the truck stops, and they might get into your truck, and they could, do whatever they wanted to do with them. He's probably on rewind. I've been with a truck driver 23. I never said they were creeps. I said a truck stop we went to years ago was creepy. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't even know you guys were talking about it. I thought he came in listening to something. Man, you guys, right when we hit that goal earlier, you guys just stopped on a dime. Unbelievable. Creepy people in every profession make it bad for the good ones. Yeah, except, well, the only thing is with the trucking industry, the long-haul truckers is, I bet you serial killers pick that to do. Because it's so perfect for what they're doing. They get a sex worker to get into their truck. Nobody knows who they are. They do what they're going to do, dump them on some freeway, then they continue out on their long haul doing something else, and nobody has a clue. Said he investigated some really bad crime scenes related to these serial killer truckers. Must read the book. Yeah, what was it called? Long Haul, right? Yeah. Hey, there's Kathy Shiflett. All right, something else popped in here after all that time. Must have missed it again. Let's see. It's not like before, like lizards are not allowed. Maybe. No, they're actually talking about currently. It's not an old article that we read. I mean, it's 2009, but the article was actually just written just now. Okay, so you don't ever see any truckers that you're a little bit like, it's a little dodgy. Maybe something weird going on there. Yeah, maybe it's not quite the same now. I don't know. I mean, you're more of a, if you're a trucker, then you know better than I do. For sure. I'm just saying, sex workers currently are the victims of serial killers because they're the only people that now will currently get into your car without even knowing who you are. Hitchhikers used to do that, but hardly anybody hitchhikes anymore because it was so dangerous. And so now sex workers are the only ones that do that. That's why they're even being preyed upon at a larger or more frequent pace than before, because that's all there is. There isn't anybody else. Okay. The detective said he investigated some really bad crime scenes. I think it was June, and yes, it was pushed to August. Let me go look that up in a minute here. But anyways, I think that's all I got for you guys tonight. I don't... sorry for all the trolls and whatnot that showed up in here doing their little thing that they do. It's pretty wild. Don't know what happens when they do this. I guarantee you the one that apologized was actually a troll. You could tell by how they kept responding. Oops, I forgot that I said how embarrassing it was when they showed up. How do you forget that? That's your first comment you made when you showed up. Let's see. Hell, I had to keep my foot on the pedal to stay away from a trucker. Almost ran me up. You guys ever watch that movie Duel with Dennis Weaver? That was amazing. Movie. It was just this trucker that was just. I mean, you know what's crazy about that movie? I bet that didn't even cost $100,000 to make, other than paying the actors. All it was just a truck and a car and just, absolutely freaky movie. I think Steven Spielberg, that was his first movie, if I remember correctly. Amazing. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, Dennis Weaver. Is he still alive? I doubt it. Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. And, you know, I gotta keep making videos on this case, but I might, you know, obviously I gotta start covering some other stuff too, but, you know, we can have little sections where we talk about, you know, any questions you have on the videos that I make or something. But, you know, there's other cases out there. You know, just that need to be talked about as well. And hopefully you just enjoy the way we go over cases. Unfortunately, it seems like it's really disappointing when I make a video on a lesser case and it gets like 1,000 views at the most. And it's just sad. I wish you guys would watch anything I made, because I think you'd find it interesting, you know? So if we can get to that point, I think the channel will do a hell of a lot better. But it's hard because people just aren't interested in just random, even, I'm not even talking about cold cases, just like that case that we've been following of the girl that was abducted, or, you know, got into a car and then was sex trafficked, and there's 9 people now that were arrested for it. Like, that should be an interesting case, but even if I made a video on that, it would struggle to get 1,000 views because nobody, that's not an important case to people in general. I mean, for freaks it is, but isn't that weird? Yeah. Wow, you've watched every single video I've ever made? That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It does kind of suck, Carol. I think if I had a really, like, a huge channel, everybody would watch everything, but it isn't like that. You know, I'm just now getting my name back into the Idaho algorithm where people are like, oh yeah, let's, you know, I might pop up for them. You know, but if you disappear for a while, you're out. It's stupid, you know. And so that's why the clowns and the UK people, like, they pop up every time because that's all they do. Every single second of every day. Oh yeah, remember that old hummingbird video when the cat tried to kill it? Who thinks that sucks? When you let's say you have a house and you enjoy your hummingbirds and your birds, and then your neighbors move in and they have 3 outdoor cats that go over and try to kill every one of your cats. Why wouldn't it be okay to take out the cat to save the birds? How come that's not okay to do? I always wonder, like, why does PETA, like, when you say something like that, like, PETA is a hypocritical organization. You know, they always go, that's their cat's instinct. But but cats aren't native, though. You know, like, these house cats are not indigenous to the area. You know, if you told me that a cougar or a bobcat killed a bird, I'd go, sure, that's great. But when some random tabby runs out and starts smoking all the birds in the neighborhoods, you know, then I'm like, yeah, something not quite right here. Yeah, I think it sucks. Pathetic, really. I think you should be like, if you have a cat and you let it roam out and kill everybody, all the birds, you're kind of an irresponsible cat owner. Not only that, you're allowing your cat to be in a position where coyotes can rip it apart and kill it. So I think cats should be indoor animals only, unless you live on a farm somewhere where you need them to get rid of the rodent population. What do you guys think of that? Hey, cool, Kathy Shiflett from back in the day. Yeah, I mean, cats are cool. Why can't they just live inside your house like every other animal? When you let them outside, they're killing indigenous creatures. It's weird. Yeah, they live longer inside and everything. I think you're sort of a poor pet owner if you're allowing your cat to roam freely outside, unless you live on a farm and you kind of need it for other reasons. But like in a city neighborhood, it's strange. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, good for you. Yeah, cats are cool, you know. I mean, if you like cats, you love cats, but you shouldn't let them outside. Because let me ask you this. Would it be okay if I, you know, let's say I had this hummingbird feeder and I had these awesome hummingbirds And let's say a cat jumped up and killed the hummingbird. What if I took out the cat? Would I be doing something wrong? Or was I just protecting the hummingbird and the other birds in the area? You know, that's why I think like people like PETA are so hypocritical. Because here's what you get on PETA. You get these guys that, oh look, I got this video. I found this bird, you guys. Look at this bird I found. Oh, and I'm nursing it back to health. Look how great I am. I'm virtue signaling. Look how awesome it is. I'm bringing the bird back to health. And then, oh, one day I let it free. And then what we do is we cut to the scene where their own cat at night is killing 50 birds. You know, it's like these people are hypocritical. Yeah, cats are happy inside. Yeah, let them stay inside. And I think dogs should be pretty much like that too, right? I mean, if you're walking your dog, great, but you don't need to let your dogs running around freely somewhere, unless you live on a farm yet again. Yeah, you'd be wrong. Yeah, I didn't realize it. Get the hell out of here, man. Jesus. You're just a troll. Cats rule the world and sinners. Get the hell out of here. Jesus. What a dumb comment. I think what I'm saying is reasonable. I like cats. Like, people should have cats. I'm a dog person. But don't let your cats ruin other people's enjoyment of their lives. Like, if I have a yard that's filled with birds that I've enjoyed, shouldn't it be the owner of the cat across the way to keep their cats out of my yard so they don't ruin what I'm enjoying? What do you guys think of that? I mean, I don't understand how anybody can argue against what I just said. I have let's say I put up all these little bird feeders and seeds and everything, and I'm enjoying the birds and they're all having a good time, and all of a sudden the cats start coming around and they start killing the birds, and the birds don't want to land anymore because there's these cats that are hunting them. And they weren't there before, but now they're there, and it's because the neighbor doesn't care about that. What do you guys think of that? I think it's obvious, and everybody should realize that when you move into a neighborhood with your cats, you shouldn't even let them outside, because those people probably didn't want you to do that. Okay? Or at least ask or do something. That's crazy. Man, my God. What? Mm-hmm. Well, those aren't really yours. The feral cats aren't yours. You just feed them, right? I hope you keep them inside. Unless you live on a farm, that makes sense. Kill all the mice themselves and the cats. No respect for nature. Right. Yeah, I have really irresponsible neighbors. You know, they don't. Like, they have these huge branches on their side of this massive tree. We actually had to spend like $1,000 to cut their branches off their side so it didn't crush their cars. They have chickens in their backyard. They let them cackle at all hours. I mean, I live right in the middle of the city, like a suburb. It's not like way out in the rural. And then they have all these cats that they let run free, and they kill. You know, it's just can't stand it. You know. Am I offending anybody right now when I say that you shouldn't allow your cats outside? No, hey, Miss Tay, you're rude. You're rude as hell. You know, when somebody asks you a question 6 times and you don't answer, that makes you rude. Let's see. Let's see. Well, I think you were kind of being a troll, Miss Tay, to be honest with you. Let's be honest. Right, so if you have cats, I hope you're not like embarrassed by it or anything. I mean, not angry. I'm just telling you that I think cats should be indoor creatures for their own health and for the survival of indigenous birds. You know what I mean? Right. It's just, I mean, they're great for if, like, you live in a farm and you want to kill the rats and rodent population. And I guess in cities, maybe, you know, I don't really know how to manage it, but I just feel like there's so many cats roaming around. Like, we almost never, we only let our dogs out in the backyard. That's it, man. They're never just going to roam around. I mean, I guess a chihuahua would be kind of weird. An eagle could come out of the sky and eat it. Yeah, exactly. You know, but you know, I appreciate people that like cats and want to. You know, I've met a few cats that I like. In general, I don't like them because they're like they're just, you're never sure if they're just going to scratch the living hell out of you. But I've met a couple that I never worried about that, so I like them. Usually they're the big, fluffy kind. Oh, well, good night, Paulette Leonard. Sweet. Very cool. They need a long haul. I thought you were talking about the long haul trucker. Anyways, hope you guys had a good time tonight, hanging out, chilling out, going over this stuff. You know, not every night's the same as every other night, but tonight was pretty good. And thanks to Alex for the coffee, LRH for the coffee, and then there, I forgot the person who was, you have a, oh, that was a monthly supporter. Very cool. Thank you. Said, you killing it, Gray. Very cool. And then we also had Vicky and Lisa Valenzuela. That was earlier today. Then PayPal, we had Karen. There's actually a Karen M. Been watching you since Idaho. You're nailing it every time you post. You appreciate it. Love you. Love you too. Very cool. And then we also on PayPal we had Miss Angels, Karen again, and then Karen again. Very cool, for the dogs. And then Mark F, and then also Heather at the end there. All right. I think I got everybody on here. Was there some other one? Felt like there was a Cash App or something earlier. I don't know. I can't see it. If I missed that one, though, oh wait, is that it? No, that's not it. And I can't see it. Then in here, thank you to Richard Watts, Allie Cake, Karen, then Karen again. Then we did the whole recap for her. And everybody, remember, put the positive vibes out for her surgery. Silver Swag, Sirius Black, Jim Mabry. I didn't see what his answer was and how to pronounce it. And then Cinnamon Sun Freak, Karen again, then KK, a different KK than our normal moderator KK, then Silver Swag, Meds 24/7RN, 21 months. Silver Swag became a new member, then it was Deco Trash, then John Dunn, but Gray, sitting behind the house while the door. Yeah, then he gifted 20 memberships. That was very generous. Thank you very much. Then Jim Lawn, and then we had Sheer Luck Holmes, meaning like Sherlock Holmes, but Sheer Luck Holmes. Then Mama 457 Rose, Sheer Luck Holmes again. Do you think the 802 Troy Road camera, I guess I gotta see where that is, only takes images at intervals? Let's see. Is that the one I got right there? Oh. Oh, the gas station one. I don't know. I don't know. What, I think that video, it's just a slow shutter speed, so they just kind of took ones over time and just did an overlay. Alright. And, Jim Lawn, Alley Cake, Mama 457 Rose, Bridget Bauman, great coverage is always great. And then Taylor Y3XU, 1 month member. And then we have Alley Cake, Jim Lawn, Bridget Bauman, Elizabeth Brown, MKM, Alley Cake, Alyssa Stedman, Karen Messenger, and then John Dunn gifted 5 more memberships. Very cool, very cool. Then K Me, then I gifted 5 memberships because of all you guys, and then Kathy Shiflett and Moofies. All right, well, thanks everybody, appreciate it, and I hope you guys, you guys like my new thumbnails. I'm trying to put, I think they're a little bit more, just kind of like boom, like you can see them, not a lot of words. I used to write paragraphs on there. It was like a dissertation, words. You almost had to get a magnifying glass to read the comments, the long worded things on the thumbnail. Now it's just 2 or 3 words and a picture or something. I think that's how to do it. So anyways, thank you guys very much. And Moofy's right there at the end. Appreciate it. And I appreciate all you guys. And see if we can get this sucker back on track. Last 4 or 5 days since I've been back covering this case, it seems like we've been doing a little bit better. Yeah, you like them? Yeah, because some of my other ones aren't quite as good as these last ones, I think. Right. Right. Let's see. Yeah, you saw those, right, Taylor? Who the hell wants to watch this video? I just learned the whole, like I was saying that earlier in the show. Why would you want to watch a video when the thumbnail had so many words in there it actually answered the question you might have seen if you'd watched the video? So now you just kind of leave it up to something like a curious comment to go look and see, All right, I might actually be going. I might go there at some point again to drive around and actually follow the new time. And I think would be interesting. We might try to do is put a microphone or something like that, like a mic somewhere near where that surveillance camera was, and then drive around on the road and see if you can hear certain sounds at certain times, and then we could know that that's a verified vehicle sound, something like that. Like do a whole bunch of different tests on different things. I think that'd be pretty interesting. And then I'll probably use my new what is it called? X4, the 3D 360 degree camera that I've got. I have an X3, that's the one that took this video here. Like this is pretty clear, right, you guys? Like this is pretty sweet. This stuff. So this is kind of like the normal look of it, but if you let's see. So this is 56K, but the new one is 8K. So this would be way clearer on the new one, and I'm sure it's even more stable. See, look at that. I mean, that's really good. All right, thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. And there's the Sigma Chi. That's where Ethan Chapin and Xana Carnodal were partying, and all they had to do was walk back this way and go back home. It's right across the street. That's Band Field over there where those other kids were arrested, or not arrested, but talked to at around 3 in the morning over there. And that actually, the Band Field verified the time being correct on the Linda Lane camera footage, because you could hear the same sort of like cop car honk of a horn. I think it was a cop car. It might have been something that went ding, 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 like that. It was exactly the same time frame. I have to use my notebook and make a list of suspects. Did you find any? In what case? What case are you talking about, Lisa? You need the Raina glasses like the New Orleans attacker used. Those are pretty cool. I like those. I actually thought of the Ray-Ban. Aren't they Ray-Ban? What are they called? I was thinking of getting those after watching that, but then I forgot about them. Those are pretty sweet. And you could do it where you could interview and talk to people. And there you've got it right there, right? Oh, Ted Bundy's suspects. What do you mean? Ted Bundy's suspects. My fingers are smoking from responding to so many people. Yeah. Anyways, thanks everybody. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. My other kid's coming back tomorrow from the Philippines. He's been there off and on for a year now. So, he's come back a couple times, but now he's going to be back for good. And so that'll be tomorrow. It'll be awesome. Oh yeah, Ted. I don't know where Ted is. I don't know who that person is or anything. There was a Ted that emailed me and then they got angry at something. Don't know who that person was, if it was the same Ted or what's going on, but they were mad at something and it was like, what are you mad about? It was weird, so I don't have no clue. But anyways, thanks everybody. Good to see you up there, everybody. And John Dunn, good to see John Dunn back in here. Yeah. If you want to be a moderator again, let me know. It was fun when you were around back in the day. Alec Murdoch, Jesus. I got that one. Here you go, listen.
Stupid is being nice.
Not that one. This one.
Huh? It's the house! Huh? It's the house! Huh? It's the house!
That's actually Alec Murdoch going, huh? When his kid was talking to him, he goes,
huh?
Could you imagine? And then when Alec Murdoch was being, like the 911 call, the operator said, you live in a trailer or a house? And he was so indignant that she would even question that he lived in a trailer. He said,
it's a house!
It's a house, you... Oh my God. Oh, okay. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Sorry for all the trolls tonight. Crazy. Where the hell is it? And believe me, they were. There it is.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now.
Good night, Freak.
And during this whole time,
hey,
I
look,
have
it's
not
Baz
seen
B.
one person.
Where's Baz B?
That is a crime dissector.
Yeah, he loves It's a House.
Like rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector.
Gonna get you on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Green's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pop protector. Fool deflector, interceptor. I don't need a little spectre with a vector on his spectre. With all respect, y'all. Just remember,
I've a temple fucking
conjecture. I have no agenda. I'm a pretender. I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to the real true offender.
Hey, what the hell are you doing,
just
Mary
get right
Lou,
back
you
to it.
wacko?
Alright,
I was just singing, great. Jeez, you don't have to be so mean to me.
Oh my God, Mary Lou, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Oh my God, Mary Lou. She tricked everybody again. All right, see you guys.